From access stacks to toy vendor, yeah, we break through. Unbox the fire, showcase the find. Collectors worldwide, all one of a kind. ToyLeet, we set the pace. Elite with the heat in the plastic race. ToyLeet, not just a name, we're the culture, the vibe, the collecting flame. Click, snap, pose, it's more than display. We stack with style, redefining play. Custom builds, epic drops, from stream to shelf, we never stop. ToyLeet, it's not just toys, it's legacy we stack. ToyLeet's the movement, and we're never looking back.
What's up, dude? I think I gotta unmute you.
I did it.
Yeah, still figuring out this technology thing, right? So that's how this works.
What's going on, man?
Awesome, dude. I know we got kicked off a little late here, but gonna have an exciting show tonight for sure. We got some clowns for sure sitting in the background. And when I say clowns, I mean a clown. And you obviously know who I'm talking about. We'll bring those guys in just a second. I wonder if the two guys in the green room.
Your ass, man. You ever see that guy's arms and legs?
You know, I was gonna kind of swing that same approach. So you get where I was going with it. I was actually gonna drop the hammer on Skunk, and everyone think I'm going after Punk, right?
I've seen Skunk in an elf costume with tights on, man. His legs are bigger than your head, so just be careful.
So they're like 10 times bigger than Punk in general, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So we got a good show tonight. For those that are just tuning in, we are the ToyLeet Takeover. You're watching us on the ToyLeet Network, where you can find a bunch of different shows here in the coming weeks. Things have been a little hectic on my end, Ed, but I know that I'm working on a really cool segment and video review of some of the WWE Mattel Ultimate figures that'll be coming out soon. I'm doing some final edits on that and should get that out probably middle of next week. But we're going to be going over tonight, really our main topic. So before we jump in there, let's go ahead and bring our guests in. I'm not quite sure, with this new setup, if I can bring each person in one by one. So I'm going to try something here. Bear with me. Nope, they're both coming in live. They're coming in hot. Here we go.
I think they're muted.
You guys have to unmute yourselves because this doesn't work like StreamYard. You don't just automatically get voice.
I just did. Can you hear me?
Oh, yep. Yes, I can, brother.
What is this third world app that you're using?
Oh,
it's actually got some things that are better than.
It probably does what we need to do. We just haven't figured it all out yet. So.
I like you guys. I like you guys just do it on the fly.
What's that, Jeff?
I said I love how you're doing it on the fly because that's exactly what I would do. My nickname at work is Half-Ass Shear. I dive in, baby.
There's no better way to learn than just doing it, right?
Yeah. How do you learn and get burned? Right?
I always go with the approach of fail fast, but make sure you fall forward. So,
Ooh, good one. I try not to fail.
And you've seen how that worked out. So you're great at trying.
I love it. Was it 7,000 subs? Hold on, let me check.
Oh, you're just 7K? Are you up to 7K, dog?
7K, man.
I am.
You had like
I make a lot of videos
last night. Yeah,
it's the heel factor.
WT.
Man. It's the heel. You tune in to see the heel.
Love it. Good deal. So tonight, right? We this is an annual thing, right? We're missing our fifth man for this show this year. Largo was not able to get back to us to join us this year, but last year, episode 11, we had our JoeFest or Yo Joe June show, where we went through and we talked about JoeFest, which was upcoming, some Joe history. I'm gonna kind of go about it with the same approach, but we have a twist this year.
Is there JoeFest?
Ed has well, there is JoeFest.
Well, I didn't know.
No, is that because you're not going, or is it because I'm not going? It's not important.
I don't care if he goes. He paid for the room, so I'm good.
I haven't paid for it yet.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Oh, sweet.
Hey, just do it with your money.
So we're gonna jump in this week. Normally we have some news. There was some news this week. The big news that I caught wind of was Savage Crucible announced their delivery coming soon in June. There wasn't much other things that caught my attention. Maybe there's some bias there because I'm looking forward to my wave 2 of Savage Crucible. But it normally open up some stuff or talk about our ToyLeet or toilet segment. But we're gonna hold off on all of that stuff. We're not even gonna shout out from the Crick this week, which we typically do every episode. But we're gonna kind of dive right into the topic this week. So let me see if.
We want to hit the chat first. See who's watching.
Oh man, I haven't even clicked on the comments. So yeah, let's go ahead.
Can I say something? It is weird, and I heard you say it like your first episode or so. It is weird seeing the chat on the opposite side.
Yes.
It is really weird.
Yes. It's a little bit different. Some getting used to, but this actually has a lot of functionality more than StreamYard, and it's half the cost. So.
What did you guys? Oh, so it's half the cost of like the subscription.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It has a lot of features that StreamYard doesn't. And one of the things is if you watch the transition of this screen right here, you'll notice it does a clean little fade out transition to the slides that the scenes that I've created. So there's some cool features in there, but there's definitely some things you have to work around that StreamYard has already introduced and advanced on quite a bit.
I think what I've liked about it so far when I've been watching you guys from time to time, I'll jump in on the live streams. It enhances the big dick energy of the crew here.
Well,
I mean, it does. I'm like, I'll lay in bed and I'll be like, wow, something's different about you guys. There's an aura. And I'm like, yeah.
Just like damn, I'm down in my basement on StreamYard, small dick energy, and these guys are just out here killing it.
Giant in my underwear, like, yep. I got my water heater going. Looks good, pretty good right now.
Listen, Skunk, you're bald. You have the same energy that I have with everyone else that's on the show that I do earlier. I think we're gonna have to have you on one day because.
Yeah, probably.
Is that what it takes to get on?
It's a circle of bald jerks.
Yeah, you have to.
I'll shave my head, punk. I'll do it. I'll do it.
All right.
I'll leave the beard, but I gotta wait till the beard's nice and thick, so I look like a fat Triple H. So I'll wait till the beard's a little bit thicker.
All right, you clowns. I'm gonna say hi to the chat.
Okay.
Fat Red Foods here saying, "What's up? Why is it so empty in here? Because you got here early. That's why." Allison Troy, greetings. Greetings, Allison. We got 3-star draw or down south 77, whatever one you want to call them. What up, y'all? And we got the one and only Steve Martin, famous for Father of the Bride and many other shows.
We just saw Steve Martin.
Musketeers.
Got some comedians here, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
G.I. Jetman's in the house. What's up, Jetman? And we are now ToyTube official as Nolan has joined the chat, saying, "What's up, Ed Travis in the chat?" Stanley Eberhart is here saying, "I found the right channel. I recognize these names. Well, it shouldn't have been that hard, Stanley. I send a link every Monday night." Todd C's here. Yo, yo, yo. Let me speak on this.
You do not have a commercial.
This is true.
Oh, you guys got to work on that.
Murray Corrigan, what's up, Murray? Saying hello,
Hey,
Ed.
Murray, what's up, buddy?
And we have Murray saying hey to Jeff.
Kennedy in the house.
Yeah, representing
Murray,
Canada.
I'm here too.
Dan DiBiase's here. Saying
Dan's
hello,
awesome.
everyone. Dan's a good guy.
Hey, Dan.
And Paul Morales, what's up? Hello, everybody.
Mandalorian's in the house.
Yeah. DJ 5000, sup, gents? And one of the other jerks, Tony Spinks. Hey, what's
Tony.
your name? Tony. Fuck you, Tony.
We're 10 minutes in, so you're good with the curse words. They won't mess with us too bad.
Dude, it's only
We're not even close to monetized, so it don't mean shit, man.
It's like 30 seconds.
Great.
That's it for the chat, brother. The show's all yours.
Cool, man. So So then I will dive right in. And so tonight's gonna be a little different, right? We're gonna approach it with me kind of playing the moderator, and we've got three guests that will be here taking part in the JoeFest stuff. I think this. Hold on, give me a second. It looks like it doesn't fit quite as well as I'd like it to.
There we
I
go.
want to make sure. How about that? That looks
works.
good, right? Okay,
everybody
cool.
here.
Look at everybody.
Sweet. So we got everybody. We've got. Let's just do a quick round of intros. Most folks know each other, but I'm Mr. Wonderful, egotistical, self-centered, narcissist as I am, plastic
AKA Travis
collector,
not
and we
fucking
have exactly not that Travis. That's what I should change my name to. Is not
Travis.
that Travis.
Travis, not fucking Moody.
And then we have Ed Axion Figs. He's my co-host here every week, even when I'm not. And then we have Skunkworks Studios, aka Jeff. Jeff, do you want to just introduce yourself real quick?
My name is Jeff Shear. I am Skunkworks Studios. I have a beard and I'm in my underwear.
You missed a perfect opportunity to go, my name is Jeff.
And then we have our favorite, Mr. 7K himself, APWT, a Punk with Toys. Lawrence, do you want to give yourself a little introduction? I know most know you, but for those that don't,
Yeah. What am I supposed to say? Not to sound egotistical, but in all honesty, if you don't know who I am, you're probably not watching much ToyTube because I'm on every fucking day. It seems. A Punk with Toys, I got a Monday show, a Tuesday show, a Thursday show. Yeah. You can
Not to
find
be egotistical, but I am Mr. YouTube, don't you know?
that works. I mean, he owns it, right? We've been saying that for years.
You guys started calling me that, all right?
Huh?
I tell you
didn't
what, Punk's on so many shows. It's a matter of time before you're syndicated.
Yeah, dude,
Oh.
it's bad right now.
So this week, right? Again, kind of touching back to what we talked about is we've got JoeFest coming up. It's I think 2 weeks out, right? Do I have the dates right?
Ooh.
Next week.
No,
Next
don't.
Wednesday. Thursday, rather.
Don't
Is
short
it
up.
next week?
Yep.
It is next week.
Oh,
Thursday.
goodness.
Thursday, we will be in Augusta, Georgia.
Awesome,
Hot.
awesome.
Oh,
So,
yep.
so we're gonna be diving into a bit around the the JoeFest activities. What got you guys into Joe's? I've got a couple questions. Some of them you guys answered last year, but I wanted to bring them back. For folks that are just catching us now and maybe just kind of hearing about the things. So they're phrased a little differently, but we'll dive into some of those questions. But stick around because it's not going to be just those questions that we're going to cover. There'll definitely be some banter here, but we'll also we have a trivia contest at the end, guys. I don't know if Ed shared that with you guys, but we've got a Joe Fest trivia contest that will occur at the end of the show, and the winner, there's a surprise for the winner.
I didn't know there was actually gonna be a
Absolutely
trivia
nothing.
contest.
Can I guess it? Can I guess real quick?
Yeah.
Is it Punk's Hex Stack?
No, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. It's absolutely nothing.
What is Punk Stack?
Freaking snidely whiplash
So,
tonight. I got my
We
got my
were
mustache
saying we have
waxed.
some guests.
Here's my Hexa stack, guys. It's the translucent one right now.
It's the reason you can't. Well, the reason you can't see it is because it's behind Punk, but he's so damn short he can't even stop it.
Well, I
But
need
it's-
something to raise this chair up.
Yeah,
That's why he wanted the
Help.
Hexa stack so bad, so he could get up a little
I
higher.
was hoping for it for Joe.
Oh,
I could just carry it in my pocket and then put it down, and then I could be taller than people.
That's right.
dude, the stand would carry you in its pocket.
Fine by me. I'm fine with anyone carrying me. I don't have.
Look to me, man. I ain't carrying your ass.
So this year, right? I guess before we go into these questions, I got a couple of questions on screen. Pick and choose which ones you guys want to talk to. But specifically, JoeFest is next Thursday. Ed, let's talk about your plans for JoeFest. Well, you're going down. You're leaving Thursday. Or are you leaving Tuesday? When are you going down?
I'm leaving Wednesday afternoon. Gonna do about half the trip to Wednesday. Stop, sleep for a while, then do half the trip on Thursday.
Drive down by yourself?
Driving down by myself. Only way to go, man. Road trip solo.
Okay. So last year you had a co-rider with you or a co-pilot, I guess, right?
I was passenger princess the whole fucking way last year, man.
Okay,
I
gotcha.
just sipped
Yeah,
my
yeah.
ties and talked to him while he drove.
And now he's not. Is he going this year?
No, Rob's not going this year.
Okay. Okay. So Rob won't be in attendance this year. That's disappointing. Okay. And then you're going to be there, I assume, straight through Sunday evening. Or are you coming back on Monday? What's your plan?
Monday morning, we'll be pulling out whenever we get our asses up and moving.
We'll probably go to
Gotcha.
breakfast. That's what we did.
You gotcha. So Punk, it sound. I think I've heard just through Ed and whatnot. Are you headed down the same time, Punk?
My goal right now is to wake up about 4 on Thursday, 4 a.m. and head down there. But it's a lot easier to say you're going to wake up then.
Shit.
That's why I'm leaving Wednesday afternoon, because I know my ass won't get up early enough. And
What are you going to do? Just crash in your car like halfway down there?
yeah, I'll probably crash in the car. If I find a cheap hotel on the side of the road, I'll stay there.
There's a new hotel line out there. I'll have to look it back up, but it's they basically bought up a lot of the cheaper hotels. I want to say it's a Hilton. It might be Hilton, but like I stayed there at Hershey's Park like a couple months ago, and like right outside of Hershey Park, and it was like $68 a night, and it was like clean, nice. It was actually like one of the best hotels my wife and I and the kids have ever stayed in. That was like not like a resort hotel.
Is it in Schitt's Creek?
I have no idea. I have no idea, dude. I have to look it up when
If you've never seen Schitt's Creek, then you're missing out.
No,
Oh yeah.
no, I'm missing
Yeah.
out. I'm
Ed,
definitely.
did you watch Schitt's Creek?
Oh yeah, I watched it.
Oh, that was brilliant. Brilliant.
My ex-wife was a huge fan, so
And now, so it's actually Spark by Hilton, just so you guys know. So check that out on your way down if you're looking for a
Spark
place.
by
to
Hilton. I'll have to see if I can find one of
Spark
those.
by Hilton. I think during COVID, what happened was a lot of those hotels couldn't sustain the
Oh yeah.
operation. So like some of the smaller, like the smaller brand hotels crap the bed, and then they were all retrofitted and cleaned up, and they're actually nice. So we had a very nice stay at the one in Hershey, Pennsylvania. So I recommend them definitely, especially for the cost. If you're gonna sleep in your car, it's obviously cheaper, but you'll definitely get your bang for your buck at those.
Definitely worth it if I could find one of those. So.
Yeah. So Punk, you're going down on Thursday. I thought I heard Ed and you were crashing together. Is that accurate?
Yes. One.
Okay, so
one
it's just the
twin
two of you.
bed.
I know last year you crashed with some folks too, right?
Yeah, we have one twin bed. So
Why,
we
yeah, why
haven't
can't you just say sleeping together?
what was that?
I said, why can't you just say sleeping together? You're sleeping together.
I like to create the illusion and let things go through people's mind of what's going to be going on.
That's right.
I like that. I like it.
Yeah, no. So I picked up the room. I originally just got the regular room, which was single, and then I'm like, well, let me just get because it was almost the same price through my AAA. It was like just over $1,000 for the room for what 4 or 5 nights, whatever we're gonna be there. And I knew I'd find somebody. I figured Ed's going down; he wasn't going with anyone. If Tony decides to go, I said, Tony, you can crash with us. So yeah, last year I was with Tony and Travis. Travis fucking Moody.
Yeah.
Travis fucking Moody. Okay, that checks out. Not this guy. I've never been to JoeFest, and before I ask that next question, Skunkworks, Jeff, are you attending this year?
No, actually, I'm going to be on vacation in Omaha, Nebraska, checking out the old burnout SAC headquarters at Offutt Air Force Base. So that's what I'm going to be doing
nice.
during JoeFest. I'm going to see my sister. My sister lives in Omaha, and we go there every couple of years to hang out. So we go. My brother-in-law is a retired colonel in the Air Force, so he has some pretty cool perks. And we go. And,
You're gonna be hanging out with like Bro Law Invest.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just going to do whatever my wife and kid want to do. My sister. So
Nice.
it would be basically.
I think you should go to JoeFest next year.
I think I'm going to try to go. Yeah, I'm going to try to go to JoeFest. I'd like to go to a couple others. So I've got that on our plans because I'll take the family when we go, make it a vacation.
How far from Des Moines, Iowa are you?
Not far at all. I actually have my nephew lives in Des Moines, Iowa.
Because I'm headed there in November for
Probably 4 hours, maybe.
okay. Because I'm
4
headed
and a
there
half
for
hours?
Codename Iowa. What's
that?
Oh,
articulated Codename Iowa or articulated?
What the hell is that show called? Articulated. She
I
wanted to
know
say
what
times, but that's not it.
Yeah,
I know what Codename Iowa is. It's the convention they do out there. That's all Joe stuff, right?
Yeah, it's also called articulated something because it was
yeah.
Yeah.
two shows that morphed into one.
Assembly required.
Assembly required. Yep, that's right.
Oh, okay.
I love going to Iowa, going through Iowa. It's the only states I can drive through and raise the IQ level.
And
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys out there. Don't think up. I live in
He is
Illinois.
not kidding at all, right?
Jeff just got blacklisted in Iowa across the whole thing.
and
I
what
hate
kind of
Iowa.
vehicle do you drive, and when will you enter Iowa next?
I'm not telling anybody. I fucking hate
Hey,
Iowa
I have to
football,
go
man.
through Ohio, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to drive the exact speed limit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, is that because you have like a "fuck Ohio" banner on the back of your car?
I have a feeling that I have wanted
Yeah, it's a
posted.
Michigan plate.
Yeah, exactly. You have a Michigan plate, and
Yeah.
you don't
I love it.
speed. You don't go under the speed limit. You do the speed limit the whole way there.
Jesus.
Nice.
I love it.
So that said, obviously, Punk, it's gonna be a long. You're up in Michigan, so how long does that take you to get down there?
It's like a 13-hour drive if I don't stop, but I have to stop.
Okay.
Damn, that's like going to England. That's wild.
That's
Because I
12 and a
can't
half.
drive to England.
It's 12 and a half
Shit.
for me, so.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna
I think-
say that's
Wow.
a hike,
Yeah,
man.
that's a good drive for
Wait,
you
it's
guys.
only a 12 and a half hour ride there, Ed.
Yeah.
Only.
Wow. Well, because it takes me 14 to 15 hours to get to Myrtle Beach from New York, South Carolina.
So you drive slow.
No, I don't drive slow, dude, like at all. I got New York plates, man.
It takes longer to go down through the center of Pennsylvania and all that shit because you're going through all the mountains and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cut
Right.
down through the west side of Pennsylvania where it's all like the 79 and all that shit down. Just hit a nip of Ohio and nip of West Virginia and Kentucky, then shoot over towards the east. So it's quicker that way.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So last year I went to Georgia. What's the main city in Georgia?
Atlanta?
Atlanta?
Yeah, I went to Atlanta. We stayed the night there. This time it's taken me completely out of a completely different path because I believe I get off 75 and it takes me across, and I'll be pretty much headed down the border there.
Yeah. Once you get past Ohio, we'll probably be in the same route, basically.
Yeah, 13 hours and 10 minutes to get there. So it's 800 miles.
Damn.
And now from an achievement side, right? How many badges of JoeFest do you have, Ed?
This will be my third. Well, it's my second JoeFest, but it morphed out of JoeCon, which I went to many years ago.
Okay. And Punk, this
This
your
is only-
second or
This is
third?
my second.
Oh, okay. So last year was your first time going to JoeFest.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And then the year before that, you were at PowerCon, if I recall, right?
Yeah. Because right after we went down to Florida, I thought,
Okay.
shit, I just drove 23 hours back from Florida last week. I can drive 4 hours to Ohio. That was a
back
dumb
the same
mistake.
day.
And that's why next year, because next year we're going to Orlando for a family trip. We're going to be doing JoeFest, and then we're driving straight down to Orlando because it's only 6 hours.
good
Because I'm like, if I go down to JoeFest and then come back, and then in a month
fuck
decide gonna drive down to Florida, it ain't fucking happening.
No,
Damn.
that's actually a smart play. Maybe that's what I'll convince the family to do next year is to somehow tie in a trip down to JoeFest that then tacks on and goes to like Universal or something.
Yeah,
That's a good.
And Jeff, if you decided to go next year and bring your son, I mean, it's totally kid friendly. So I mean, you wouldn't
Oh
have to.
yeah,
Yeah. I figured it would be. Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, at nighttime we hang out. So if you had the missus with you, they could go chill in the room. You could come down to the lobby and hang out or whatever.
go
Yeah.
to the pool.
I used to go to the international conventions, the GI Joe conventions. I've been like 3 of those. Those are pretty dope to go to. Smaller than what I thought, but still fun.
It's disappointing now only for the fact that it's a lot more a real American hero and classified centric as opposed to, years ago when I was going, it was a lot more 12-inch, centrics.
Yeah, which is understandable because a lot of
Yeah.
those guys are getting kind of old and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And they're pretty much pumping a lot of the 6-inch stuff out there. So
Yeah.
everything kind of evolves, right?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm glad someone can have that. I'm glad someone can understand that and not have begrudge the new stuff. That's amazing. What a concept.
I'm
Well,
going
I
to check
think
in
you
with
know
the chat
what?
real quick, Punk. Or Troy.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say I was gonna say as you're getting ready to jump in the chat there, Ed. If folks haven't said, let us know if you're going to JoeFest. Be interested to know who from the group is going to be going.
You
I
know,
don't-
And you're saying suckers.
I think only
You-
3 stars going. That's in the chat right now.
Stanley's here.
Like I said, I think only 3 stars going in the chat.
Oh, yes.
like you and I talked about this, Punk, on the Thursday with a friend, which was a super fun time. Any Joe's good Joe, right?
Yeah.
Any. It's really what's keeping it in the ethos is kind of the best thing for everybody. It doesn't matter. Scales come and go, genres come and go, but as long as you're talking about it, it keeps it alive in a lot of
That's
ways.
right.
Yeah, like I have no interest in the 12-inch figures, right? But you know what? If I'm walking down Target or if I'm on BBTS and I see 12-inch figures, it doesn't tell me like, oh my god, they can't make my scale or what I want.
Nah.
Right? Why can't I be happy for what other people want?
I think you got to be able to look at all the scales and appreciate appreciate them for what they are. Like, and I think a lot of people right now, the big thing seems to be toy photography.
Yeah.
And if you can look at all these guys and what they're doing with their photographs and say, wow, that's a really cool picture of whatever, like insert whatever. That's kind of what it's all about. You're out there playing with your toys, enjoying the money you spend on them, and not just putting them in a fucking box and forgetting about them. That's really the important thing is to enjoy it, and then everybody else enjoy the fact that you're enjoying it.
Yeah, without the 12-inch figures, we don't get the 3.75. Without the 3.75, we don't get the modern 4-inch. And then, without any of the 118 scale, we're not getting classified.
Right. It's like modern military shitting on World War II vets.
That's right. That's exactly.
Like what the fuck did you guys ever do? I don't know. We charged the beach,
Yeah.
fought Nazis, fucking liberated a whole continent.
Punk, I'll let you say this one.
Menhoza saying, "What's up, Paul?"
That's a great name, dude.
Yeah.
And look at him, got a little bikini on.
Stanley will be here flying into Augusta Thursday at midnight. Good luck with that, brother. Nomad says Schitt's Creek with the Levy family. That's right.
Yes.
It's Levy and his
And
son.
if you guys have not watched it, it is completely done. So you can just sit down and watch the whole series. And if you don't like it, you don't think stuff is funny.
That's right. Brick Something's here. What's
I'll
up,
have to check it out. What's up, Brick Man?
Kenzo's Creations. What's up, gents in chat?
I like the Skeletor logo.
Oh, there was one more down here at the bottom I saw. Hold on. Where the hell is it? Got to find the bottom.
Could do a whole He-Man episode. I'd love to do a He-Man episode with somebody.
Toyamic Displays. I'll be at JoeFest.
Oh man, hit up Kenzo. He is huge into Motu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Troy Dotson, TD3 Troopers here. What's up, my dudes? What's up, Troy?
Oh, so how do you say his name?
It's TD3 Trooper.
Okay.
But his name's Troy Dotson.
All right.
I love to look at the class of 12-inch Joes. Awesome to see them, even if I don't collect it. Yeah. Last year at JoeFest, they had what the hell's that guy's name? He was set up outside, but he does like all sorts of like custom 12-inch original style Joes.
Pawtucket Balloon?
Pawtucket. Yeah, Pawtucket.
Yeah, he guy's wicked talented. That guy's
But he had all of his custom boxes and shit shown off. I was like, damn.
He makes some wild. He's been on Paul Knapp's show, and he's a wild dude. He does some amazing stuff.
Yeah. And Terrence's next toy is here. One of the most, I would say, convention going motherfuckers I've ever seen in my life. This guy goes to more cons than I could even possibly.
I mean, look at that avatar. That avatar.
He's going to be there too, right?
Yeah. Terrence will be at. I can't talk today. Terrence will be at JoeFest.
That's what I
I
thought.
love all these people's avatars. How much work they put into them. Pretty dope.
And Sig Toy Arts, what's up, fam? What's up, Sig Toy?
Uh,
That's it for the chat, brother.
Sweet. So I think it was perfect. You guys are starting talking about the scale differences. Punk, I think it goes. Everybody that knows you, you're into something. You're in the classified figures, but I mean, you go all the way back to the the
You know,
3 3/4, right?
I love my classified, but I have a whole room devoted to 1/18th. And lately, I have really been getting, again, sitting back and doing all those classic reviews that I've been doing. It's easy to make content because I already have it, but to see the detail on it, and then you pick up like something like the Delta 17, and then the heavy, I think the heavy duty toys or something. They made like the sailors and stuff. I'm having so much fun trying to add to that collection. So I wouldn't say, I know people want to say that I'm just some 1/12th collector, but it's far from true.
Well, we all know you like those
Okay.
dealers.
Well, I mean, you
Yeah.
you definitely
No.
have all of your you have all of the GI Joe, American Hero stuff, right, from the '80s and stuff, right? You had your ship. Everybody knows. You don't have to tell us about that, or the body slam you got to watch.
The boat.
We know about that. The boat. So we know that, right? So and then and Ed, I think you obviously are more modern collecting, but you are currently you're more modern collecting, but you still are pretty heavy into the joy of the 12-inch, right?
Yeah, I still have a lot of my 12-inch. Most of them are packed up in the shed at my ex-wife's house. But um, modern the modern stuff, it's just a lot easier to build dios, which is kind of my thing now, in 1/12 scale than 1/6 scale. I do have a couple 1/6 scale dioramas, and Jeff can attest. I made him a small project, and it still came in a pretty excessively sized box.
That would be
It
that's
was
huge.
big ass box.
I mean, I know how big the 1/12 scale and stuff is. So, I mean, I can't imagine 1/6. I mean, I don't have room.
Yeah, it's
Big,
gigantic.
big. It's a problem. It's a real
You know.
Like I
problem.
said, I have one. I have an Egyptian dio that's one room of the tomb, and the whole dio is like 2 by 2 by 2.5. That's how big
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And people want a classified. They want a classified Night Raven or Sky Striker,
Yeah,
and some
Big,
idiots
big,
even
big.
say a flag.
I want the flag.
Yes. Yeah, yours would just sit in the box behind you until you finally realize you don't want it no more.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens. I don't have a his tank or whatever, and I don't have the what were those other
dragonfly,
things?
dragonfly.
I don't have either of the dragonflies anymore. I got rid of both of them. So the dragonfly sold and allowed me to buy a dragon, so that worked out.
You're missing out.
Oh, I'm gonna have a dragon, like an
Like I
actual
said,
dragon.
you're missing out.
No, that those things are great. I just obviously I
I get it.
pivoted a bit, but like here's I think for me, I was never tied into the Joes the way that you three gentlemen are, or a lot of the people that are in the JoeFest community, going to be at the JoeFest event, right? For me, I got into the Joes, and because of Sergeant Slaughter, because of the wrestling connection, like that's really where it comes from, right? So, that's part of why I got into it. But I will say, the big draw for me was I remember, a lot of those 118 scale figures that I did get when I was a kid. But when I saw those 112 scale figures and the detail, I think this is what you were kind of hinting towards, Punk, right? Is it's really cool to see some of the detail on that 112 scale figure that wasn't possible in the 80s and 90s, and like it enhances like because you still get that nostalgia feeling of the 118 figure, but you're like, damn, look at that. They got this and they did that right. And as long as they hit on it, it looks really good, right? I mean, there's definitely been some fumbles, but I mean that's bound to happen in any reissue of something. But like the majority of the stuff, especially the last couple of years, has been really, really good.
And I think in all scales, I think the 1/12 scale is the best for toy photography. Again, you can get a lot of articulation out of a 1/6 scale, but then you need space to do it.
Yeah, I would say I would say the issue that's one of the reasons that I collect some of the 112 scale stuff is because you can put 3 or 4 figures in a picture and still get some of the backdrop and the whole figure in. Whereas 1/6 scale, that's a struggle. You're usually getting
Yeah.
closer up or pictures of one figure
Yeah.
with some background in it, right?
I would say the 112 scale. You're right, Punk, about the photography, but I think it also really lends itself not only with the photography but your ability to build a really nice compatible diorama.
Yeah,
Like with other scales, I don't know if you're able to really build a diorama that will not be giant for 1/6 scale or not be a little off because of the detailing of the 1/18 scale. But with the 1/6 scale classified figures, the ability of these guys that right now to build these really cool dioramas that really accentuate quality and the posability of those classified figures is really next level. It's really cool to see that evolution of GI Joe into that scale. Like dioramas, to me, the dioramas with those figures, it's a really unique scale in that idea.
And here's another thing is doing all these classic reviews that I've been doing. And again, I'm not a great photographer at all, but sometimes the iPhone takes a great shot. But photographing the 1/18th vehicles, they look amazing. They are big enough to show all the detail. What you don't normally get with them is you don't always get pictures with good figures in it, right? Because a lot of times you do need a stand, and you guys know my feelings on stands. The O-ring figures will never have the articulation. Modern 4-inch may, but they're also way harder to pose than the 112 scale. So when it
I
comes
had
to
some of the Eagle Force in the 1/18 scale though,
yeah,
and they were still tough to pose because I
yeah,
mean, and some of the Joy Toy, right? They have great articulation, but they're still the feet are small, so they're hard to get into like a good
very
running
small.
pose without having a stand or something like that, right? I mean,
Yep.
Yeah, and you know in my opinion, one of the biggest advantages of the 12-inch or the 112 scale figures is you got 60 years of technological evolution at your fingertips right now with all these guys.
oh
You've got incredible designers, incredible toolers, 3D printing. You have everything that all these other, like we talked about at Punk, all these other lines that led up to that. You've got all this stuff that has culminated into what some out there might consider to be like the perfect rendition of an action figure right now, as far as all the joints, posability, the detailing, the gear, all that stuff. So yeah, it's not a shock to me. Like I told you guys earlier, I think Hasbro has hit their stride with this line of figures. They're really pumping out some amazing figures. I don't collect classified because I collect too much other shit and I don't have the room. But I really admire it. It's like looking at in a lot of these other 112 producers. It's really sometimes like looking at a piece of art. You're like, damn, that's really nice looking figure. And anybody should be able to look at this stuff and just appreciate it for what it is, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I've had
So
numerous people message me, just like in conversation, not message me to tell me, or leave comments on my reviews and say I don't collect classified. I just can't afford it, like for how much they're doing or whatever they're collecting. He's like, but I'm living vicariously through all your reviews, because again, I do a Monday show. I go through all the toy lines. I don't collect all that stuff, but other than the McFarlane, I'm looking at it normally because it's good.
Yeah, you should like enjoy it. I like
normally.
like Travis, like your first question there, what scale do you collect most and what makes it your go-to? Well, obviously I collect 1/6 and I enjoy 1/6. I've always enjoyed 1/6 for a long time. I love the adventure team. But I have figures from almost every genre of GI Joe. So I have the original 64 Joes, the adventure team, the muscle body, I have Super Joe, I have a ton of real American Hero stuff I just got from my brother. Actually, two of the styrofoam hang gliders complete.
Wow.
Um, and I have Sigma 6. I've got Hall of Fame. I've got some of the Resolute. I've tried to buy a figure from each of those because I just appreciate and love G.I. Joe so much. And I love looking at all of them because they're all so different And it would be fantastic to sit and talk with the designers from each of those genres if you could, and just get everybody's input on what makes GI Joe GI Joe.
I
You
think
know?
I also think that as an adult, a mature adult, you can look at something like I hated Sergeant Savage, right?
Yeah,
I was I think in 94, 95. I think just graduated. I kind of have some money. I'm kind of collecting some toys. I remember seeing it and I hated it because it was the wrong scale. Because I
yeah,
wanted it to go with, the O-ring figures, right? But now when I look back at it, I'm like, these have some really good design to it. I think they'd be really good in the classified scale. To
yeah.
classify them up and put them all in the same scale and be like, hey, you know what? This is Sergeant Savage. This was the GI Joe team before it was even named GI Joe, right? And you go
I
back
agree.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
if we got Sergeant Savage, we could actually customize a decent Sergeant Rock figure.
I have a
Yeah,
decent Sergeant Rock from McFarlane, believe it or not.
and
He's just
Sergeant Savage made his way into the GI Joe Extreme line too, right?
Yep.
So you can do an extreme version of Savage. Those figures were really, really weird, but yeah, I agree with you, Punk. I would love to see Sergeant Savage in the classified line. I think that'd be really cool. I've grown to love Sergeant Savage over the years. I have the Hall of Fame figure, and I've switched his head out on a super articulated body. I love that figure. He's going to make it in some of my photo stories. I love that. I love the accessories. The P-51 Mustang they made for that one was dope as shit.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the scaling was weird. I kind of almost considered him to be the Super Joe of the Real American Hero era, right? Because Super Joe, the scale never fit. Sergeant Savage scale never fit. It's like Hasbro they take these swings and they miss, but 20, 30 years later, you get like a cult following. And you're like, fuck, I want to see that guy in a
Yeah.
cool scale, like classified. I would buy a Sergeant Savage in a classified scale. I would be
I
like,
would,
yep,
for sure.
he'd go with my Sergeant Slaughter.
Yep.
So
So real quick, Plastic Skulls
Yeah.
is here saying, "Hey everyone," and I just want to read this comment because this is good stuff here. The GI Joe franchise has impacted me by showing me that most of the fanfare is toxic. I wish it could be more like the Star Wars fan base.
Are you talking? I love the satire to that.
Yeah,
Oh my
I
god,
love it, Terrence.
fucking Star
So-
Wars fans.
Yeah,
so this is gonna kind of like. Oh, go ahead.
I just got my second modern Joy Toy 1/18th action figure today, and it's killer stuff. Yeah, Joy Toy is making some good stuff.
sure they are.
Big Toy
Looks
Arts
cool looking.
says he's selling his 1/18th Acid Rain World stuff. If anyone is interested, nice prices.
So am I.
He's
No,
trading
no,
up. He traded up for
isn't
the
Acid-
dragon.
Isn't the Acid Rain like it's very expensive?
It is very expensive.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
1/18th scale,
very
it's
pricey.
very expensive.
And to be honest, as someone who picked up a bunch of the Acid Rain stuff, I don't think it has the same quality of the. And I'm gonna say this, Punk. I know you've worked with like the army builders from Joy Toy, but the higher end, more costly Joy Toy figures are much more premium quality. Ed, I think you can vouch for this too with
Yep.
some of the ones that you've gotten, right? Those army builder packs, from my perspective, are like a lower grade quality figure. But the Acid Rain, in my opinion, is even less quality than the ones that you've dealt with from Joy Toy, and the cost is even higher.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan
Acid
of
Rain
Acid
makes
Rain.
great vehicles, but that's about it. That's where their
And
their thing is. They
the,
make
the toys look cool, but when you get them in hand and you look at them, they don't have like the same detail that you would expect, and the quality of plastic is just, it's a weird gummy knot. It's
yeah.
the best explanation I could say is if you held any of the if you held, what was that line that came out and that you got them for me last year at JoeFest, Ed?
Oh, the fist.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm sorry. That was such
yeah.
trash.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it was a first run. I hope he does better. I root for the guy, to find success
Hey,
somehow. He's gonna struggle.
I hope he does wonderful, but man, that line was that was so bad. Those were so awful.
Some cool concepts, but the plastic was not like quality that you would want in your figures. And the same thing, I'll say is kind of what I feel like if I was to put the Acid Rain stuff next to it. It's in my opinion, it's the same. But yeah, kind of going back to the point though that was being made is around the
There's a
scales and
point.
such. Yeah, there was a point, I think, a sharp one. No, one thing I want to call out is I think with the 112th, I think it's more inviting to the casual collector because it covers that nostalgia piece, but gives a modern, fresh take on it. So, and let's be honest, right? I think folks are talking about Joy Toys, Acid Rain, other things, right? You can get some Joy Toy figures, but the price point on a Joy Toy compared to a classified, you can get a bigger bang for your buck in look and feel than maybe you're going to see at that Joy Toy level.
Well, you and I talked
But
about it
again,
before, Travis, right? You can stick a 1/12 scale figure on your shelf and still see it from across the room, right? The details and
yep,
stuff. You put a 1/18 figure on a shelf from far away, it just doesn't have that detail, that pop.
Let's
yeah,
be honest.
absolutely.
1/12 works perfect because we're at that age that our eyes are getting bad, but we refuse to admit that we need to see a 12-inch figure. All right, we can still see a 6-inch. We refuse to say we're that blind.
Yeah,
That I mean, you might be hitting on the head there, but yeah,
I am blind. I can't see
I,
shit.
cool. So I think you guys covered a lot of what we were kind of like some of the questions. I think we kind of went off on that, but is there a memory that you guys have that sticks with you?
Go ahead, Punk.
Which
Go
one
ahead,
do you
Punk.
want? Which one do you want?
If you
So
talk about the USSSSSSS
Give us a
ship that
different
you
story other than the flag and the first time you
give
saw
us
the
something
figures
new.
with your dad. Give us a different story.
Give us something new.
I mean, I think I've told all the stories. Like I don't know. I guess for me, GI Joe was it was super cool. Like it was this military line. You could go in the woods, but you didn't feel like you were playing army all the time because once they gave you these cobras and these cool blue outfits with masks, like they knew about the pandemic well before anyone else. Like Cobra Commander was preparing them, right? Like so he knew that come
Cobra is
20,
responsible for
yeah,
COVID,
he,
from what
he
I
knew
heard.
come 2020, like
Fuckers.
we were gonna survive, but all the Joes were gonna die off. No, I mean I remember just like getting the camouflaged ones and putting them together and then taking them out, and then you hope that every single one of them comes back. Um, and again, I can remember getting Crystal Ball and being mad that it was the only figure at Children's Palace that I didn't have, but I was gonna get a figure, and I was mad that I had to get this piece of shit figure.
So so let me ask another question. I'm actually going to phrase this slightly different. I'm going to since we're all fathers. And I think for all of us, we've gone through phases of collecting, right? And some where we didn't, and Punk, maybe, I mean, if you have that room, you may have been collecting forever and it never changed. But let's spin it like this: what memory do you have in the
Hey, they're
last
saying
5
we're
to
frozen.
10 years?
Hold on.
I'm frozen.
Jetman and Plastic Skull says we're frozen.
Oh, we are.
Let me
We're
look at this.
frozen, but I can see you bringing up the comments.
That's interesting.
Yes, because I'm watching right now, and they're absolutely right. We are frozen. So I don't know if they can hear us. I can
Can you
unmute
guys
it.
hear us?
Can you guys hear us out there?
I don't know if they can hear us. Yep.
Can you guys
Very
Yeah,
hear us?
frozen.
so they can hear us because I just unmuted it, but we are frozen in time.
That's wild.
Son of
Oh,
a
well.
bitch.
So maybe
Hold on.
take.
Carbonite. I'm in carbonite right now.
How about
podcast at this point, right?
That's exactly, but that's why we probably dropped off to the people are dropping off. All right, now I can see Mr. Wonderful, which is probably the worst sight of all.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sig Toy says now we're all gone, which was the plan, right?
No, Mr. Wonderful's on.
Okay.
Now
I'm gonna
he's
kick
Let
you
us-
guys and then bring you back.
Let
Yeah,
us know in the comments, fellas, what's going on, what you guys can see. You're gonna have to help us.
That's
I'm
wild.
seeing me and I'm talking on screen, guys.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, you guys all come back. Ed, come back out. Go back to the
Yep.
dashboard and come back in.
Yep.
Then Kenzo, you got it the best way it possibly could be, brother. Just me.
Travis, not fucking Moody.
You guys got me all by myself.
Yeah. So what happens
Let's
if
start
we?
dropping
All right,
these guys in.
there's
Do we
Edward.
need to get off and try to get back on, or what?
So I got Ed in here. Ed, are you
Yep.
moving? Can you
I see
move?
Ed
Here we go. We're
and
bringing people in.
myself and Skunkworks are not on.
So you guys got
Okay.
to go back out to the dashboard and then pop back in real quick.
All right.
Okay. Shit. How do I leave?
Just go to hit the back button up in the top left corner.
I got
Of
you.
my-
All
Of my browser?
That's wild, dude. I don't know what the hell happened there.
yeah, I've never had that. We've not experienced that yet.
All right, can you see
How about
yourself,
now?
Punk?
I got it open on my other screen here. So
Not as of right
there's
now.
Punk.
Oh, there I am.
Yeah, you're coming in.
All right.
Got me back.
Just go wait.
You want me
see-
to tell? You want me to tell the USS flag?
Hey,
There we go.
I'm back. Are we all back? We good?
I think we're all
We're
back
good.
now.
We're good.
Sorry, guys.
Dan says it's not his fault.
Yeah.
Are you related to Ted? Just asking.
And while we're waiting, Derek Hoover's here. What's up, Derek?
Awesome.
This is gonna be a memorable
Okay.
one. I like it.
Yeah, that's
So-
all right. It was
so
too
I was
much,
just- I
too
was
much
just-
baldness, too much big dick energy. The internet couldn't
There's a
handle
lot of big dig energy between me and Punk.
it. Yeah.
The two t-shirts brought it hard tonight.
Yeah. So it's I was changing the question there for you guys. So my thought is let's go this approach. Over the last 5 years, have Punk, give me a memory you've made with your son or your kids, right, around collecting. And I know you have some because you kind of hinted towards it in the past. I have one that should be a memory for you. If it's not for you, it is for me.
I mean, going to JoeFest. It's again, it's YouTube, but the whole YouTube thing started because of collecting. Now, PowerCon was nice, smaller. Going to JoeFest was it was getting to meet all these people that you call friends now. I mean, that's awesome. But with my kids, or I don't want to say my kids, I don't want to like insult my son. It's Olivia and her just feeling she owns the fucking show. Doing videos with me because she has absolutely no shame whatsoever. And again, you guys have seen her just come in and stuff like that where she realizes like this is kind of like what I do now. And when TikTok went down and we were on Oz's stream and she shut 10 guys up for about 10 minutes when she went on her rant about TikTok, which was only down for what, 30 minutes at that point.
Yeah, right.
Right. Good deal. So that's what I was thinking, right? Is that connection, that relationship, your YouTubing stuff ties back to the Joes and the collecting there, which over the last couple of years, I mean, for me, I think of the Olivia popping in on streams and watching in her comments and just that connection. You did the show with her, but also, your son started doing some commercial recording, things like that, right? And he's helping you out with some off, what is it like?
These are
Secondary
things I'd
videos,
rather
things
not
like that.
talk about because I don't have to explain it to everyone.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
Let's just say he doesn't always complete what he wants to do.
We're kids, man. We've had kids. Hey, there's still some of us as adults struggle with that. We do. Takes a while. But that said, Jeff, regarding you, what about the Joes? What memory do you have with your kid at this point? I know he's a little bit younger, but with the action figures, the GI Joes, like what brings you to that space with him?
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a great question. So I've had my YouTube channel for a little over 5 years now, and my son is 6, so he's kind of grown up with me doing YouTube videos in a big way. So he sees dad doing his stuff. He sees dad going out to the yard, taking pictures, doing videos, making customs. Now I'm to the point where I make customs for him. He jumps on a few of my videos from time to time when he feels like it. We did an Iron Man video together with that fucking dirty rat Tony Stark, and it is fascinating to watch him and his imagination grow, not only with the stuff that I'm interested in, like the GI Joes, specifically the 12-inch ones, but also like his interest in just action figures in general, because he has a really broad, like me, we both have a really broad interest. We love all types of action figures. We appreciate the aesthetics and the art of them. Probably not him, because he's not at that point in his life. Hopefully he stays that way. But I would say the last 5 years, building the YouTube channel, creating my own unique kind of GI Joe space, making friends with all you guys. Some of you guys have known for a long time, like Ed, and you do, Mr. Wonderful and Punk. I've just met here in the last few years. Just really getting to know everybody in the GI Joe community, the good ones, the bad ones, the cool ones, the not cool ones, and reconnecting with old Joe people like I do on Paul Knapp's show, like Dan DiPiazzi and Rick Corrigan, and just trying to like live in the moment, because we all have GI Joe in our own life, like our own scales and shit. But the last 5 years has been really, really fun for me from that aspect.
That's awesome.
I want to say I love the fact that your son loves Tony Stark and you hate him.
You son of a bitch. Our Iron Man video is hilarious that we did together.
I love it. Like you told that story, and like to see like the disgust on your face. It would be like
dirty rat.
if my kid wanted to be ride a scooter and not a skateboard. I would have
Yep.
had I probably would have just disowned him, signed him off.
My kid would have turned me in during COVID for not wearing a mask, because that's what Tony Stark would have done.
So
Fucking Tony Stark.
So Darth Vader. What memory do you have with Luke, with Joe's and action figure collecting?
First, let me just say this, right? I've told Jeff this in some personal messages and stuff between us, that like seeing his interaction with his son reminds me a lot of, I mean, like Jeff said, his son's 6, mine's 19 now. But the way Jeff interacts with him reminds me a lot of the interactions I had with Luke when he was little. I mean, Luke was reflocking vintage GI Joes when he was like 7. He did one for me for Christmas. That's still one of my favorite Joes that I have. Right, he reflocked Land Adventurer, did the right flock when I was at work. Just from him sitting there watching me do it every night when I was flocking heads, he just knew what he was doing, right? And we've gone
That's
out.
Flocking crazy.
What's that?
That's flocking crazy.
It is flocking crazy. Me and Luke used to take zip lines out into the woods, and he'd tie him to a tree and zip line his GI Joes down to the other side. He had a nice collection of 12-inch GI Joes that's with mine in the tubs. But that kind of stuff, just not just GI Joe. I mean, when Luke was little, the only way you could get him to take a bath or sit on the toilet is if I was in there and was giving him superhero quizzes, or talking to him about toys or something like that, right? It's the only way he would sit still and listen and pay attention to what he was keeping. Like, I should do that with you, Travis, to keep you on track. I should start doing superhero quizzes with you or something. It was that kind of thing, right?
Hey, I try, man. I try.
But I think I've always loved collecting, but like having him come along and actually be interested in it has definitely made it more. Like, he comes out with me in the woods and helps me take a lot of my pictures, helps me edit some of my videos. He's always been, him and I started this show, and he's always just been kind of like, my partner in crime since,
little buddy.
But see, I think that's it. Like, if you would have told me when my kid was born, when my son was born, and then Olivia came along, if you would have said, you know what, in 13, 14, 15 years, you're going to be closer to your daughter, not because she's a daddy's girl, but because she will go collect Lilo and Stitch stuff. whether they be Funko Pops or whatever. She'll go to every toy store with you. She'll be the one that wants to spend time with you, not your son. I would have been like, bullshit.
Yeah.
But that's how it is. And to watch her want to do stuff like that, to for her to sit there, and I wanted her to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I know we're way off. And as we're watching the first season, I'm like, this is so bad. I know it gets better. But then for her to be the one like, hey, let's watch another episode. And that's what for her to coming to me, that's what is
Well,
that's
she
what's
goes all
amazing.
out too, right? Like you did was it the Rattler video that you did where she was running around? I can't remember which one it was.
That was the Anakin Skywalker
Oh, the
pod.
Anakin's pod racer. That's right. Yeah,
Funny. This is funny. That was a funny one.
yeah, that was good. Like you said, right? She has no shame. She's awesome.
That's awesome.
Real quick, Travis, we got a couple new people
Yeah.
in the chat. We got Random Diorama. Anybody looking for
What's
a
up, brother?
1/18th playset? Head on over to helladopetoys.com and pick up a Random Diorama 1/18th scale playset.
Have you thought about talking about Radnam about 3D printing there, Travis?
We got Ostradamus Toys. Says he's late to the party, but he made it. What's up, friends?
I like it.
I'm not touching that one. Vancouver saying, I'm very lucky that Henry, his 6-year-old, takes the collector mentality very well. His toys are for playing, mine aren't really for that. Yeah, but you also have a full basement or man cave now that you're working on setting up like Eternia. So I'm sure there's going
That's
to be
cool.
sharing of lots of things.
Now, I will reiterate what I've said for years, and I believe collectors should not have kids because once again, we feel they need to have everything,
Oh, yeah.
even though they don't. And again, I remember with my stepdaughter trying to find this one Care Bear because there was 9 and we had 8, and her mom going, she doesn't care. And my answer was always, but she has 8 and there are 9.
Yep. You remember when the Star Wars prequels were out, they were doing like those M&M Star Wars
Yes.
characters. They were like 2 inches tall or whatever. They're just solid plastic, right? And then they had the Mr. Potato Heads on all the Star Wars versions.
Yep.
I had to get every single one of those for Luke. He didn't give 2 shits about those things, but I had to make sure he had all of them. But it's Star Wars. His name is Luke.
Yep.
I'm going through that right. I'm going through that right now with Shogun Warriors.
Yep.
It's a fucking mental illness. It's a mental illness for me because I'm buying ones and he doesn't even know they exist. But I'm like, hey, what do you think of this? And he's like, yeah, let's get that one. I'm like, okay. What am I doing?
You
know,
for
it's
me,
bad.
but it's bad when you ask your kid like, "Hey, what do you think about that one?" And he's like, "That's pretty cool."
Yeah.
Doesn't really care, and you're like, "Okay, let's get it."
Let's get it.
Like,
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
that's
so
not the problem.
I guess I bred it into them way earlier than like to a point where my kids never questioned it, because of the Marvel Legends with the BAF and even the Toys R Us had the BAF wrestlers and stuff. So you always had to build a figure, so you had to get them for the extra parts. So like immediately, my youngest one, Son of Wonder, there he always has been, oh, we got to get every one of them on the box. I mean, he was like that even when he collected the Paw Patrol figures. So he naturally had it in him, and my oldest son was very much like that. He's at that age now. He's 21. He's getting into hunting and fishing and all that stuff. So he's outdoors and stuff. He's doing a lot with his art and everything and working. But he doesn't collect the figures as much, but he still opens them up on the holidays, his birthdays, and all that stuff because I always get them for him. If there's something I see that he wants.
Let's just go back to PowerCon 2023. Sunday, Travis brings Son of Wonder with him to the show, sits him at the table, and they're talking and stuff. And Travis says, "Hey, you mind watching the table for me while I go walk around with Son of Wonder?" I'm like, "No problem, man." And I can hear him telling his kid, we're only going to get like 1 or 2 figures, right? He came back with like 7 or 8, and they walked back off, come back with a couple more. I'm like, you're not doing so well at saying no there, buddy.
Yeah.
See,
That's how it goes, man.
I want to highlight Derek's comment about collectors shouldn't have kids. Lawrence, why do you hate why do you hate Joy, my man? See, obviously you haven't got to that point that your kid doesn't care about finishing a toy line that he has, but you do.
Yeah.
and you search all over for it, all right?
Well, I like this one. Sick Toy Arts. The Care Bear stare won't work without all 9. That's right.
That's a valid point. That's a solid point.
You know
That
what?
is a very
See?
valid
Look at
point.
that.
Oh
I
man.
never use that
Yeah, that
shit, boys. I feel like I need. You know, I
This is
might
another
just text
problem.
my ex
When
right
Luke
now.
was little, he was really into Thomas the Train. I built him a train table, out of the 4x8 sheet of plywood, put all the buildings on there, had to get him every single train and car and caboose. And,
So,
I'd sit there and play the trains more than he would.
so we didn't get the wood ones, but we got the plastic ones, and they're
Oh, we
actually
had
that's
still,
what we got.
yeah, they're still downstairs. I had a blast. I mean, it sucks because the wood ones stayed together a lot easier.
Yeah.
Thomas the Train, I always loved when I'd go to like, my parents when we were kids, we would go to someone and they had a big train set, right, or a big slot car. Like that was world building, especially train sets. Before you knew what world building was,
Oh, yeah.
there was a whole world there, and you're a kid. You're 5, 6, 7 years old, and you're watching this train fucking go around at 1 mile an hour, and you think it's like the greatest thing in the world, and you can watch it for hours.
One of my good
Do you?
friends' father-in-law still builds, like, he has a train set thing in his basement, right? It's huge.
Uh-huh.
And he still builds on it all the time. You go down there and it's got a new train rail or a new building or something he's tinkering with. It's just crazy.
Do you guys remember the GI Joe train in
Yes.
the 80s?
Oh, yeah.
We have one. My brother has one with his. We
That's
have
crazy,
we have
dude. Those are really
have a
hard to find.
yeah, we have a ton. We have a ton of trains, old train track, Tyco trains, and a bunch of ones from the 1980s and late 70s. Tons of boxes of them. But we had the GI Joe train, and that was a lot of fun. I love playing with that thing. I have about 1,200 foot of Hot Wheels track that I've bought because we build the shit out of Hot Wheels track still. I mean,
Oh,
still build Hot Wheels.
I was
tracks.
never into cars. I was never
I
into
asked
cars
Jeff like
until
a
I'm-
year or two ago. I was like, I found a whole bunch of track that my son had when he was a kid that he doesn't care about. Just like, I don't even know if I have room for it. I'm like, it's Hot Wheels
I got
track.
a-
He's like, seriously,
I got
you
so
don't know
much
how many
Hot Wheels
miles
track.
of track that I have.
I have a shitload of track. I'm not even kidding you. A lot.
So kind of going to the next thing because I do want to get to this trivia contest because there's a huge prize at the end that
Oh,
somebody's
yes.
got to win. But 2025 JoeFest, it's coming up. We got 2 of the 3 contestants going here. What and Jeff, for you following JoeFest, if there's something you're interested in, maybe you have an Ed or someone grab it for you. Let us know. Let's kind of go around the room. Ed, what are you looking forward to at the JoeFest this year as the big exclusive or reveal that you're hoping to see?
The only exclusive thing I'm after this year is the Eraser by Operation
I knew
Monster
it.
Force and the
Knew it.
other exclusive one that you got to buy, but it's actually sent through BBTS. Other than that, I'm not looking forward to any of the exclusives or anything there. I'm going to look a lot more for like some of the vintage stuff that's there this year, as opposed to like
Okay.
last year. I didn't really do that, so that's what I'm going to kind of looking around for this year. More of the vintage stuff.
Gotcha. Cool. Good deal. What about yourself, Punk?
Same as last year. Delta 17 stuff. I'm writing down what I need to complete the collection. They have 4 different exclusives, so I'm excited for that. Once again, they're going to be one of the places that actually has product. And then what Ed said, the Operation Monster Force. I'm going to take a look. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm going to take a look at the fans' hobby, not Skyhawk. There's only like 400 pieces being made. They're $120. If they had a green one there, I'd rather buy that. But that I have not heard a bad review about it.
It looks good. It looks good.
What is
You know the Skyhawk from the Real American Hero? Fans Hobby's doing like a
Is it
not.
Tiger Force?
Yeah,
They did a Tiger Force exclusive
Yeah.
for JoeFest. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
I saw
problem
that.
is HasLab comes out at the end of the month, and we won't know how much it costs. I'm guessing around 300. So that comes out at the end of the month. Now we'll have 6 weeks to fund it and everything. But I don't want to go down the road too much because we're about to get slammed with G.I. Joe Classified.
Oh, you know that Classified's putting out a Skyhawk.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't already. It's like an iconic vehicle, right?
They have really taken their time on a lot of their vehicles. I think they want to make sure that they're going to sell. They
I think
don't.
they want to make sure they look awesome too, right?
Oh yeah,
The snake armor was pretty fucking dope too. The way they did that snake armor, very well thought out.
I like that because it's something different. Because the original Snake Armor didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Nope.
This one
This
here,
was like a mech suit.
yeah, this
This
one
is
makes
very nice.
way more sense because you're sitting in it and they're
What
gonna
is this?
The GI Joe mech suit, the
the Snake Armor.
snake
Snake
armor.
armor, yeah.
I didn't even
I
see
think
it.
one of the things that I
Well,
really
no, it's
appreciate
really cool
about
looking.
what they're doing with Classified is, other than the Vamp and then the Singer, they're really giving us unique vehicles, right? They're not trying to just reuse the mold. Like, they could have used that Vamp mold and done how many different Vamp style vehicles, right?
Yeah.
And
Including
I
like
think they
a
saw
police
with the
car.
Stinger. I think they saw with the Stinger, though, that there's not as big of a desire for a reused vehicle, right? As it
Mhm.
is, like using the legs off of Roadblock to make heavy duty or whatever, right, is one thing. But the Stinger did not sell as well as the Vamp.
Well, it sold more because they made more.
Well, yeah,
And- but I'll still say that the reason why the Stinger has sold as much as it has is because of what Gridiron has done.
oh yeah, yep.
I totally
think
have been so busy the last couple weeks. I missed all of this stuff. I'm like looking at this the Hasbro Pulse, and like I didn't realize they released the combat armor Cobra Commander. That's like one of my favorite figures from when I was a kid. Like I
Welcome to
remember
the
that.
party.
Jesus, Travis, come out from under the rock, dude.
Jeez,
I think one of the
Somebody
coolest
spoke
things about Classified that I enjoy is, like you guys are saying, like they're not just reusing old molds. They're kind of doing like a really nice reimagining of those iconic 80s vehicles and accessories and kind of upgrading them and updating them for a modern style world, right? I think I said this the other day on your stream, Punk, but the All Striker has a really, you remember the Chenoweth, Ed?
Yep.
It basically looks like a Chenoweth, which for you guys up there who don't know what the Chenoweth is, it's a Navy SEAL assault vehicle, that was used in, I believe, Desert Storm.
Yep.
And it looks really a lot like the Chenoweth with the longer front, the chassis, everything like that. It
High
almost,
back seat.
if you guys look up the classic collection Chenoweth, that All Striker looks
Oh,
almost just like it.
Yeah.
It looks
that was
just like
amazing.
And they showed that off. They showed the digital render, and even though I knew it, and I mean it had come out, Lenny had finally confirmed that you can take that back seat off, so you can make it look like a classic one. Although it does have bigger wheels in the back than the front, unlike the
Which is
original.
the way the Chenoweth actually. They made that new All Striker look more like the Chenoweth than an actual All Striker.
For sure. It looks like a realistic vehicle, and that's cool
Yeah.
looking. And I like how they're doing that. They're kind of giving the stuff more of a realistic look than what the 80s stuff did,
Yeah.
Well, I would say the later 80s stuff. The early 80s stuff, the 82 stuff looked really cool as hell.
Oh yeah, when they first launched, though, they were still going very, very military. I mean,
But it was all
No,
new.
for sure.
It was
For
all
sure.
new to
For
us. Like we'd
the
never seen
original
anything like that.
GI Joe helmets from the original 13 were designed after the Kevlar helmets that the Army was using at that time.
Right.
I mean,
And that that original Vamp is, if you've ever seen the old late Adventure Team stuff that they never produced, the Vamp's based on one of those old Adventure Team Jeeps that they were going to make in like 76,
by
77.
Jaguar, right? Wasn't it Jaguar?
Jaguar, yep. Lamborghini Jaguar, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's freaking cool looking, but
Quickly, I want to say, watching Travis's face realize there's been new GI Joe stuff was like watching my kids when they were 5 open up Christmas presents.
Travis is like, I'm back to GI Joe now.
Yeah.
Woo!
Travis just had his
This
memory.
like it was shown off like 2 months ago and sold out.
Yeah.
And Travis is just seeing it, all excited.
last 2 months have been pretty crazy for me, as some and others may notice. I probably missed quite a bit of that with my focus mainly being on a lot of the independent toys and not being heavily into the Joe stuff right now. I definitely missed that.
What he's saying, Punk, is
totally
he hasn't watched your
oblivious
show
to it.
totally.
Yeah,
Well,
we just
That's because he's too busy watching that professional wrestling thing.
I have been watching that with the two boys every week. We've been enjoying the heck out of that quite a bit. I guess go ahead.
When we come back next year and we say, what's your memory? You're going to be like, when I discovered the classified stuff that I missed out on for like the majority of 2025. That's going to be my memory.
He won't
It's
remember.
very possible.
He
It's
won't.
very possible. So I went through and I did look at the JoeFest page to see what other kind of customs or not customs, but what other like exclusives and stuff they have. But it's kind of hard to follow on there. There's not a ton of it listed. Really, just the big bad. There obviously Valaverse doesn't do JoeFest anymore, so you miss out on having some exclusives from them.
I don't miss out on anything.
Well, Hasbro doesn't attend it, right? So there's nothing from them that's exclusive.
With
So you're
JoeFest,
really,
though, they don't. JoeFest doesn't put on the exclusives like a lot of the other shows. It's actually
Okay.
done by the manufacturer. So
Do you
that's
guys
why
ever
you don't
think?
see a list.
Do you guys think Hasbro will ever attend the Joe Fest?
No,
No,
Nope.
they want to.
Just,
Like
it's
they
just not
want.
financially feasible, or what? It's not in their budget.
They just won't do it. There's no reason. Lenny and them, and I've asked Lenny. He said I'd love to go, but they have bosses that tell them that they can't. No, he's
Yeah,
never said
it's
that.
it's corporate thing, probably, right?
it's Hasbro control, right? They don't want
Yeah.
them getting out there and sitting down, getting loose with a couple of people and saying something that they shouldn't say. Is really what it's about.
It's all I get it. I get it.
with that, there is Super 7 going to be there. We know we love our
Who?
Super 7 figures.
Is that?
Super 7. Super
Are
7.
they still business?
Barely.
Super
Are they still business? Because I got their bitch ass email that when they cried and everything.
Yeah, there's a chance that Brian Flynn won't be able to get back to California because
Don't get it.
there'll be money in the budget
They're
for
still in
a ticket.
business. They're floating around with a life vest on, but they're still in business.
Yeah.
Look, man, I'm just kidding about
That's
Super
awesome.
7. I don't want
So
people hate me.
So I just got a message from one of the guys in the Circle of Jerks showcasing some of the stuff that's going to go up for sale tomorrow. So it looks like the two retro figures are going up. Sorry, these are all classified. The two retro figures, the green shirt and the retro bat. The police officer is going up.
Oh, gotta get the police officer.
The box looks awesome. Just the colors of it, and then Mercer and Sergeant Slaughter.
Pre-order.
Oh,
I got a vent about the Legacy Collection, guys. You guys may agree with me, but you may not agree with me. If you want to sell more figures, which you're in the business of selling figures, put a fucking vintage head with those Legacy figures, and you guys like me, guys older than me, that will buy all those up.
Yeah.
It's just a head sculpt. It's just a print. I've emailed the message that dude. What's his name? Tony. See the little guy that sits next to Lenny.
Tony's the painter. Lenny is the
I
designer.
mentioned Lenny about that, and he's like, we've considered that. I'm like, if you put a vintage head sculpt in those Legacy figures, you'll sell the shit out of them.
Oh,
I don't care what anybody says.
You should tell Lenny that, punk.
I'll bet you my G.I. Joe collection, you'll get a lot of guys buying it because those 3D printed heads. All these guys are buying these 3D printed heads of the vintage heads and putting them on all the classified figures and doing tons of pictures.
Absolutely.
It's not a niche. It's not a niche thing. There's a lot of guys doing it.
I'll message them. I mean,
you would sell.
I mean, they have the rights to the head. All you got to do is downsize to 112 and golden.
But here's
just
the other
put the
thing.
head in there.
But here's the other thing. You put that head in there. It would go with everyone. It's going to go with the police officer, right? It's going to go
with all the other figures.
Yeah. So now you're giving 3 heads, and you're increasing the amount of people that will buy it just
Your reach.
for the look. It's the same. It's the same as the retro Stalker and Duke, right? You're trying to grab guys that aren't collecting classified right now, right?
Yes.
Oh my God,
trying to grow it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would bought every one of those.
Honestly, they don't even have to include like a black and white version if they didn't want to. I mean, we didn't have that option when we had 12-inch Joes, right? It was this guy was either. I mean, the figure was black or white, but I mean, you bought one, And, I mean,
I really like the Legacy collection. I would have bought all of them if they had a vintage head sculpt.
Oh yeah,
and I'm not gonna. After people go, why don't you just buy the 3D printed one? Because I fucking don't want to. Because I don't want the 3D printed ones. They don't look good to me. I want a Hasbro vintage. I want a Hasbro product.
Yeah,
I like Hasbro. And put those in those packages, and you sell a shitload of them.
I tell you, even if they came out with a figure that was, if they want to call it Joe fucking Colton, I don't give a shit. If they came out with a figure that had a beard sculpted on it that looked with the vintage head, you'd sell the shit out of that figure.
Like the secret agent
Yeah.
guys that I think come out. Not to go on a side quest here, but are they going to come out with those heads anytime soon? Is Big Bad Toy Store going to have those for pre-order?
I don't. I haven't seen the headset yet. I'm going to talk to them.
It's got the blonde, the brunette, the redhead.
Yep.
Wait, for which one?
Are these secret
It's
agents?
part of Fresh Monkey Fictions. Agent.
What's
What
Well,
is
that's
it?
it.
Soldiers of Fortune. That's the one.
Soldiers of Fortune. Yeah,
They
those heads are
said they were going to
fucking
sit on
cool.
them. They were going to let them sit there till the terrorists were taken care of. So I'm assuming they're probably trying to ship them.
Yeah.
I hope so. So
I'm
I'm going to talk to Bill at JoeFest, see if he'll give me.
I mean, I want to say that, but I don't know if I have that much credit right now.
So the general from Eagle Force that comes with the different head sculpts, he has the Joe Colton head sculpt in that.
Yeah,
believe,
so does
right?
the one that comes for the Monster Force.
Yeah, that is an awesome looking.
Yeah.
I love that line. I've not bought any of them, but I love that line.
I
That is
love
a- That's a great line. I haven't gotten any of them myself, but every time I look at them, I go and I put the whole stash in my cart, and I'm like, man, I wish I was that into the military stuff and that stuff still as much as I am into the fantasy.
That is the best part about what's going on right now in the toy world. All the bullshit, all the complaints, all the crying, all the bitches. Right now, we have all these amazing toy lines that are all almost the same scale. We never had that when we were kids.
Yeah.
And everybody I feel sometimes that not nobody, I know you guys do. I feel like sometimes that the majority of people just don't appreciate what they have right now. They're like, they're not seeing the forest for the trees. Like
they want
through
everything designed for what they want. That's the problem.
You're living through the most amazing time for toys that maybe ever might happen.
Well, I think you've hit something because you looked back in the 80s, G.I. Joe and Star Wars were the same scale. But let's be honest, those two weren't playing together. One is space, and one is this iconic movie, and that's how it is. So you have G.I. Joe, and then you have, your Transformers. Clearly, they're not to scale.
Right.
Then you have He-Man, right? Not the same scale. Then you have GoBots that can't even go with the Transformers because they go with these little guys, but we're still a little bit bigger. And then you have the DC and the Marvel characters, which were like 4 or 5 inch figures. So you're right, like scale was all over.
And then you had the LJNs for wrestling, and those were just big rubber chew toys.
Those
Don't forget my wrestlers, punk.
I just love those.
Those were weapons.
Love them.
The LJN wrestlers, they were weapons to beat someone, and the Eagle Force metal figures, they were weapons to throw at people.
Yeah. I love weapons. But yeah, you're right, Punk. We have all these scales now that play well together, and this is awesome. You can make custom figures with shit. You can have Monster Force with your classified figures. You can have your Valorous figures with your classified figures, unless everybody's fighting over it. You can have all this cool shit that we never had when we were kids, and I'm like, God damn it! So stop bitching about everything. Just enjoy what you have.
So I was someone.
And I think you hit it on the head, though, real quick, Jeff. Is that when you? Yeah, I got his name. Remember, it's okay, Eric. You said it best, right? We're living in what has to be, as a toy collector, the best time ever right now, with most accessibility to so many different things, the interconnectivity that can be used across all of it. There's a flavor for everyone, whether you're into the military lines that are all in scale or you're into the fantasy lines that are all in scale and work together. There's so many different things. And I think the part that you kind of may have been, cut out when you were saying it is that it might be the best time ever. Not just the past, but in the future, because the dynamic is changing so much in that stuff. While the technology and a build ability might be better in the future, I don't know that every toy manufacturer is going to continue to maintain the ability to build out what they are and be able to give us this vast library of collectibles.
There won't be kids like us.
Right.
There won't be Gen X kids like us. The Gen X kids are getting old now, right? And when the Gen X kids are in their 70s and 80s, who the fuck's left? I don't know what these kids, like my son or Ed's son or Punk's kids or your kids, Travis, like, who knows what they're going to be into? Like, this might be like, you might be seeing this shit in a museum and having kids go, oh yeah, I remember my dad collected all this stuff. Yeah.
This
I sold it
this
all at
might
a
be the
fucking garage sale.
So
this might be the last great run, right? Like
I
that
think so.
could be.
I don't think so at all.
You don't
I
think
don't
so?
think so at all. No, because you know what's going to
I
happen
hope I'm wrong.
is when our kids get older, they won't be collecting GI Joe more than likely or Master of the Universe. They're going to want to collect Fortnite figures.
There you
Right?
go.
No,
Yeah,
no
you
one
might be
wants
right,
Fortnite
man.
figures now, but as they get older, they're going to want their video game figures that they played. Right? Like that's what
Yep.
they're going to look at.
Selling nostalgia. You're
Yeah,
right.
but
Yeah, that's
I
a
wanna
good
talk-
possibility.
Man, that's gonna be some shitty ass toys, Minecraft and freaking Fortnite, man.
That's what my uncle said about my little Joes too. What are these?
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
aren't real Joes. These things are little tiny pieces of
That's a
shit.
good. That's a really good point, Punk. That's a good point.
But I do want to touch on like you say like this might be the best time. Now, no time is ever going to be better than me growing up because I was a kid actually playing with them.
For sure.
But to actually look at what's happening now, not only do you have Hasbro and Mattel making great figures, and I don't care what anyone says they are, you have small independent companies that can compete with them price wise. They can't compete with them with how many they're making, but you look at Savage Crucibles, you look at Valaverse, figures are $30, right? They can make the same quality and even better quality, and they can push those other companies. You have Mattel doing, Master of the Universe, but at the same time, now you have Savage Crucibles, you have Mythic
Rosetta.
Legions. There's no
Rosetta's
way.
good.
Yeah, you can't tell me that doesn't help influence them to be like, we have to make. Yeah, we have the property, but we still got to make figures that people want, or else they're going to eventually go over and find something else. And I think Classified did that. I really do. I mean, they were going to do well no matter what, and they listened to what the fans said, and they did a course correction. But at the same time, Valaverse was making, I'm not going to say way better figures, but they were doing some things that a big company wasn't willing to do. But when they saw that, not only, I don't think they saw people leaving to just go collect Valaverse. I'm sure a couple, but what they saw was, wait, these people want this. So
Yeah.
why don't we give it to them? And once you create that in $1, now it's being reused. It's not like it's only being used one time. When I hear people say like they get so mad because something's being reused, it's like that's how they increase their budget.
Yep.
They don't get $1 billion. They don't get to walk up to the Hasbro ATM and be like, hey, this is how much money we're worth. I can just make one thing, one shot, and done. No. Hey, G.I. Joe, here's your budget. Oh, hey, your budget was $100,000, but you made it $300,000. Well, guess what? Next year, your budget is $300,000, and that $300,000 turns into $500,000. Yes, it was more than that before anyone yells at me. I understand that.
We just throw
But
numbers out
that's how are. Yeah, I'm just throwing numbers, but that's how you increase your budget.
Yeah.
It
Well,
drives
I'm a
me-
prime example. I'm a prime example, Punk, right? Because I saw the Classified on the shelf. I only collected wrestlers, right? And that's all I collected ever. But I saw the Classifieds, and that brought the nostalgia and the feel. But it was hard. There was only a limited run. They weren't the greatest in the sense that it didn't bring back the complete
Yeah.
level of nostalgia that I wanted. And that's when I started searching for some other stuff to fill what I couldn't find on the pegs and what wasn't giving me the diversity that I wanted. So I was like, oh, is there another figure out there like a Valaverse, right? Like, can I find something else out there in this scale that's going to fit? And can I take some of the duplicate heads that I have from Marvel and from 3D printed heads and put them on other figures to make other characters within that world? And that's how I found Valaverse. I didn't ditch the Classified. I went because I could, as to Jeff's point, play with them together without a concern of whether it was going to fit in right. So I think it was huge.
Yeah, iron sharpens iron, and all these cool toy companies who are doing these really cool things are probably challenging everybody else to get better. I know they all, like we've talked about this. We were talking about this off camera. They might say they don't look at each other's stuff, but I think they're full of shit. I think everybody looks at each other's stuff and sees it and draws inspiration. If they're not, they're crazy because
you would be stupid.
Yeah, because
Right.
there's a lot of really good creativity.
Do you really think, go back to the early 90s, do you really think that Chrysler Chrysler wasn't looking going, okay, well, GM, you have the Firebird, the Camaro, and the fucking Corvette. And Ford, you have a fucking Mustang 5.0. And we have a turbo 4-cylinder, which is slow as shit. And then someone was like, you know what? We own Lamborghini. Let's put the V12 in it. And someone said, no, 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 no. We're going to put a big, giant fucking 8 fucking liter 10-cylinder that's never been made before and cram it in this giant fucking hood. We're not going to give it air conditioning, no windows, no roof, and the wheels are going to be this fucking wide, right? They look at that shit. And if you're not, you're stupid. And you do what Chrysler did for the longest time and stay behind everyone.
Well, think about it now, right? I mean, it's just like you're saying, right? The modern Camaro, modern Mustang, and modern Charger and Challenger all came out within the same year. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't tell me they weren't looking at what each other was doing, even if they have their secret blankets over top of these cars.
Well,
Look at-
in a more and to relate to the kids out there, right? It's no different than the iPhone and the Galaxies, right? Like
Right.
For sure.
Wait, there's
Android.
something
It's the exact same situation.
Wait, there's something
What's
besides an iPhone?
Exactly.
Oh,
I mean,
Oh, is that what those fucking green messages are?
yeah, they're the untrustworthy people, the untrustworthy, or as,
Fuck you and
as
all
I
your
like to
fucking
refer to
Apple
them,
shit, man. I fucking hate Apple.
I do too.
To me,
but
they're
I
the-
have an iPhone, and I would not
they're
get
the
an iPhone and
deplorables.
an iPad. But you
I'm
you
a-
need
I'm
to
a-
have a Mac.
Anyway,
I'm a total Apple guy.
iPhone pricks.
I'm just glad that we can finally.
You guys are
Kinda-
so bougie. You got to have your
kinda-
fucking iPhones.
I'm just glad that we can
It's
finally read. We know when one of those fuckers with green fucking has read our fucking messages.
Right,
Oh,
exactly.
man.
It's kind of like the Brett versus Sean comparison. We always know Brett sucks, and he was always trying to be as good as Sean, and
Did he
and
tapped
Sean was
out?
the best.
Hey,
He
look,
tapped
Ben's
out. And
here.
I only added that in for our friend Ken, who may have joined the call just recently.
Wasn't Sean and Vince? Did they have something going on?
No,
No, that's not
no,
true.
Brett-
Was it a real
That
story?
was
was a real
Vince and
story?
other people.
No, Brett
Nah.
tapped
Was it
out
Sean
Maybe
and
later.
Pat
Vince?
Patterson.
I thought it was Sean and Vince. I thought I saw that in an
Rumor
MMA
has it.
podcast, maybe.
Rumor
So
has it
Derek
was Pat
says-
Patterson, but that's what I've heard.
Derek's saying it's
kidding.
interesting being a late Gen X dad at 43 with a fairly younger kiddo. He likes these retro lines and legacy properties, but also likes what's in the new zeitgeist now, like Minecraft, Fortnite, etc. It'll be
Sure.
interesting to see, what he's like when he gets older as a parent, when he gets into that nostalgia bone.
So,
Yeah.
so this is something I will say.
What's up, Ken?
So as a kid, I didn't really cross over lines too often, right? Maybe if we were playing the big, in the toy box or whatever. So for me, G.I. Joe stayed with G.I. Joe. Sometimes I might put some of those Sergeant Rock figures in there. They didn't do very much, but there's a reason why I didn't want the A-Team figures, which I regret because I'd love to have those A-Team figures. If anyone wants to send them to me, you can. If anyone just wants to throw hundreds of dollars away and send it to me, feel free to.
Mitten box preferably, so he can open them himself.
Yeah, especially the A-Team van
Right.
and that tank that I didn't want for some reason, and I regret.
Yeah.
These days, I love being able to mix and match. That Maximum Hulk, which I did not think that I was gonna like that all that much, but I did have a Hulk. I love that thing. I have it fighting, the dragonfly. I've taken pictures of it, shaking hands with the plunderlings. I just did that. Like, it's so much fun. And I love now being able to take my G.I. Joes and put them with a Mafex.
I think though that it helps having so much similarity between the lines, right?
Yes.
Like you take Valiverse, Classified, Monster Force, and stand them next to each other. They all look the same, right?
Yep.
They all have their little things that you could tell which one is which, but they all have the same appearance. To the
Yes.
point where it's not so. Like you were saying, the Star Wars figures were not the same as GI Joe, right?
And that right there is the problem. You look at the Star Wars Black Series, and you don't realize how much smaller they are compared to Legends, Classified, Classified, Valiverse, Operation Monster, all the Fresh Monkey. Like, you don't. Once you get them, then you're like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Those
Yep.
are much smaller.
It's pretty wild.
All right, Travis, you ready to do the trivia?
Well, I'm about to go there. There's two pieces
All
I
right.
want to cover. One, for those that are in attendance, Ed and Punk, this is to you. There's a photography contest. I don't know why I can't pronounce the word. There's a photo contest that they're doing. It's open to both amateurs and pros, and it's completely free. Do either of you intend on competing in that?
No,
I don't.
it's too much work.
Wow.
I
Really?
what does Black Widow say when they ask her if she wants to try and lift Thor's hammer? She's like, "See, I don't need to know. I know I'm not nearly as good as any of these people. I take it and I try and take cues from what people do. I don't need to be laughed at."
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. And then the other thing is, I guess we already kind of got. Is there any final thoughts on this before I take you guys into the trivia? Bring your wallets. Have a blast.
The Joe Fest?
Yeah.
You don't need to spend a fucking dollar other than your hotel room and your tickets to have a good time. If I went there last year and I didn't spend a single dime, and I spent a lot of money, I spent a lot of money. Like I feel like Donald Trump here.
A lot of money. Great
Yeah.
money.
No, it's not about politics.
Huge money.
Yeah, huge. I would have had a blast because
I only bought the 2 exclusive Monster Force figures for myself last year, and I had a great time.
okay. So and again, I didn't spend all that much, but I bought a good amount. But I went there planning on buying stuff, but it didn't matter. If I would have walked out buying absolutely nothing, it was for me. Thursday, I spent the night at Aaron the Toy Enhancer's house with Krusty Old Crow. Loki was there, Daredevil Dave, and then drove to JoeFest. And Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, it was a fucking blast.
Yep.
And what makes it great, and Ed, I know you didn't experience this because you were staying at a different hotel, but if you're staying at the hotel where the convention is, you don't have to leave. There's a restaurant there. If you want to go into town, that's what we did. You just walk into town. It's hot. All right. It's hot, but you're not going to want to drive there. It's going to take you 15 minutes to walk into town. It's a blast because, and then tell me if I'm wrong here. I feel like you're going to get there on Thursday if that's when you go in, and you're not going to think about work again till Monday when you're leaving because you don't have to drive home. Your biggest regret is it's 2:00 in the morning. I gotta walk down the hall and go up to the 3rd floor to get into my hotel room. Like that's your big. Like it's not that bad. It's just a fucking blast, and everyone there is fucking cool. I did not see one fucking problem. Contrary to what some YouTubers are trying to say, that there's people getting drunk and starting fights. All right, there's none of that. No one had a fucking bad time. The only person that gets too drunk that can't handle himself is
Ken.
Yep.
He can handle himself. He's got to stay out of the wrong bathroom. So.
Him and his greasy fingers.
Yeah.
His grease thumb. Sorry, I know I went on. I know I rambled on, but
no, you're good, man. You're good.
Enough good things about it because, again, we could be in fucking Iowa, which is probably a bad example because that's where I'm planning on going in November for another Joe convention. You could be in Nebraska and you're there with 300 or 400 fucking people that are just there to talk fucking toys, G.I. Joe, have fun, and not give a shit about going.
Comic book and toy conventions in the past, and after the show I left, didn't stick around, and I never met anybody. Right, this was a totally different experience.
Completely. And you might be lucky enough that someone will say, "Hey Sarge, let me get you a fucking drink," and he stops there for 2 fucking hours and just fucking rambles on about fucking this story, that story, and these other people are spending $120 to go to breakfast with him the next day, and his fucking manager's getting aggravated with him because he doesn't want to fucking leave, and this guy just wants to fucking sit there and shoot the shit with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
And that's all he did, and no one tried to manipulate his time and like trying. Oh, hey, can I get you on my podcast? No one asked that type of stuff.
Just enjoy the moment.
Yeah,
Most people are enjoying the moment.
he took pictures with everyone that that
Oh, yeah.
won. Like, he is the best ambassador. I mean, people have told me that, and they're absolutely right. I did ask, and he was wrong about that.
I
Because
hid that. I hid that. I hid that. I hid that. That question wasn't asked. It was removed. It was redacted.
I did ask, and he
The
said Brett.
memory will live on forever in mine and Ken's head. So you
Yeah.
two just
But you
shut
know
up.
what?
Moving on. Moving on.
I've also seen Ric Flair get asked, and he said that Shawn Michaels is the greatest in
The
ring.
goat.
Oh, what does Ric Flair know? The guy can't even walk straight.
Well, that's because of how much he got tossed around by Shawn Michaels.
And because he got crashed in an airplane. I mean, come
Well,
on.
there
Give
is
the guy a
there
break.
is that. Yeah, he did crash and live in an airplane. Well, he didn't crash it.
So, right. He was probably drunk and he was hitting on one of the flight staff and probably
He
caused
probably
an
didn't have
issue.
clothes on. That's for his robe. If you know stories, then you understand.
I think when all is considered, right, is JoeFest is a blast. You don't have to spend much outside of the initial upfront cost. You definitely can find some kick-ass toys. I know that there's some of my favorite, as we alluded to, independent toy creators and stuff that are going to be there. I know Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, Four Horsemen Studios, and Savage Crucible will all be in attendance, to name a few of them. I know Punk's favorite, Subpar 7 will be there. They may be bumming a ride and hitching a ride back with Punk, but they will be there from what he said.
I'm pretty sure Brian Flynn would rather walk home than ride with me.
Also, Delta 17 will be there. Let me
17
not
will
forget
be
those
there.
guys. What was that?
I said, yep, Delta 17 will be there.
Yeah. So there's quite a few folks there. I think my buddy Joe Ricondo is probably going to be there helping out with Delta 17
Yep.
down there. If not, he'll be in attendance, I'm sure. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on there. That said, Joe Fest, it's not just a convention, it's an experience, right? And enjoy what happens after, before, during the show. You'll meet some great people, and I think you said it right, Punk, is you have an opportunity to connect with folks that you may not have otherwise been able to meet in person, right? Like us at PowerCon, right? Like I talk to a lot of you guys and keep in touch with you guys probably more frequently than I do some of the local people that I've been friends with for years, just through the common, passion and joy that we all share, right? And it's cool to get together for that.
A convention like this is your chance to tell your coworkers when they say, "Oh, you're online friends," and you go, "Fuck you! I know him in person. I know fucking Ed. I've met him. All right, I've met Tony. All right, I've even met fucking
Awesome.
Travis fucking Moody. I know.
And you met
Sonny
Mr.
Leonard.
Fucking Wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Unfortunate. So, what's it about the fucking name Travis? The most needy.
We're above average.
The
We
most
can't go there.
needy-
The show's. We don't have enough time, Punk.
The
There's
most
not enough
needy
time.
name ever, Travis.
We'll save that for your 36-hour stream.
That said, well, we'll have a show on your 36-hour stream. It'll be an hour long. It'll be Trauma Time with the Travises.
There you go.
And we'll go through
That's
that.
awful.
So it'll have the highest rated views. I'm sure our
We'll do
sure
that
our
at 3
egos
a.m. when
will
no one
bring
wants
that.
to put up with their bullshit.
Yeah, bastards. So up next, giving a little extra, is G.I. Joe Trivia Gauntlet, right? So there's three of you. We've got Ed, Punk, Jeff. We're going to go in that order. There's three contestants, 3 rounds per player, and we're going to rotate. We've got round 1, you get 1 point. Round 2 questions, you get 2 points. Round 3, you get 3 points. And I am keeping score. I've got a spreadsheet up on my other window here. Find it. There we go. So I will keep track if you get the questions right and wrong. For instance, though, there is the opportunity to steal. We don't have buzzers and crap like that, so we're not playing that way. But what we do have is if Ed guesses or passes because he doesn't know the answer, then Punk, you have the next opportunity to steal and gain that point if Ed doesn't get it right. And then the same thing for you, Jeff. And then in the full circle, it comes back to you, Ed, if Jeff passes or fails. That's how we're going to work it. If for some reason both Ed and Punk fail the question and don't get it right, Jeff, you have a chance to steal from both of them and take that. So we'll go ahead and do that. Make sense? Everybody good?
All right, let's roll.
Awesome. So round 1, fight. Okay. What does the acronym COBRA stand for in the G.I. Joe mythos, Ed?
Oh, Jesus, I don't remember. I pass.
So he doesn't get a point.
I
Punk.
don't think it stands for anything.
It does not officially stand for anything. The original lore. Trick question. Be ready
That's a
for
trick question.
discussion.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
It doesn't stand for anything. It's just a name. So Punk just he just snagged a
I
point.
didn't think it did, but I thought you punked me on that one, you little bitch.
That was a dirty
I
question.
kicked your ass, Alex Trebek.
So that said, Punk did steal that one. Punk gets another question now directed towards him. His question's coming up next. We'll move on to that question. Sorry, Ed. But it wouldn't be fair if you won anyways. But you still have a chance because the future questions are worth more points. Next question up, question 2 here. I'm on the wrong screen. Here we go. Who is the leader of the Dreadnoughts?
Dreadnoughts or Dreadnoughts?
Whatever it says there.
It is Zartan.
That is correct.
Oh man, that was such a Barney
got
question.
2 questions.
That was a
So was the first one.
The first one was a trick question. Do you have any questions
Probably
that aren't
give me-
fucking Real American
I'll
Hero
probably
related?
get the-
Jesus.
I'll probably get the
This
hard
might be
ones.
Real American Hero related, all of it, Ed. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not the smartest. You got to remember who you're in the room with. Right?
I
know your host. Up next, Jeff, we have you with a question. Here we go. So question 3, or your first question, which real-life military figure was turned into a G.I. Joe figure in the 80s?
Which real life military figure was turned into a GI Joe figure in the 80s? I don't know.
Are you passing?
I'm passing.
military figure
Passing to you, Ed. Chance to steal. Get back a point.
Joe figure in the 80s. I don't know any of them that were real life military figures that were turned.
No celebrities, but not figures.
Yeah,
Hope you didn't fuck this question up.
So are you going to pass, Ed?
I pass.
Punk.
What real? Are you talking about the character who is actually like their name and everything, their likeness, or the actual character?
I think this is a fucked up question because
Yeah, I think you did too.
I'm doing some side
Because
scrolling to confirm.
okay, because there is no military figure that was
Yeah.
turned.
Yeah.
Unless if you want to say Larry Hama, who is Tunnel Rat.
Can I guess again?
I'll let you answer, Skunk, since it was your original question.
Sergeant Slaughter? Because he's a military figure in the wrestling, but he's not a real
Yeah, he's not a
military
real
figure.
military figure.
Yeah.
That's
but,
how it's phrased.
Oh,
that's a
guys.
bullshit
But
question.
that's not right.
I don't take.
I mean,
won't take
going
a
by
point for that.
Punk's answer with Larry Hama, I mean, you got Wild
Yeah.
Bill, which is a real military guy who
Yeah.
was turned into a figure also, thanks to Larry Hama.
I don't know what to tell you. He's a real life military
Well,
figure.
Jeff gets a point because
He
he
was-
got the right answer. So
Yeah,
even though the
so he
question's
got it. It goes
bullshit.
to the original question. It's
Yeah.
only you that's been screwed
Terrible
over.
for getting that. I was like
Yeah.
thinking like a real life military person.
So was I.
Like,
That's because that's what we
I
all
think it's
would
the way
really
it's
think.
phrased, right?
yeah.
You guys realize that right now, Travis just realized that Sergeant Slaughter is not a real sergeant in the Marines. He's like, holy shit!
So
Yeah,
I
Corporal-
actually,
Corporal
when I saw it,
Kushner
it made
wasn't real
sense
either.
to me.
Yeah,
So
well,
I thought
because-
I thought he had served in some degree. I
No.
assumed he,
I don't
because
think
guys
so.
in that time frame, so many served. I just assumed
you-
with
do
being
you
an
think-
athletic big guy from that
Do you
time.
think someone that really served and at that time would have been in combat would ever even try and act as a turncoat, as an Iraqi sympathizer?
100%.
And just so you
100%.
know, Captain America
Because-
isn't a real captain either, Travis.
Because hold on, Punk, I do believe that to be true, and the reason I believe that to be true, and I think anybody would, is because this is the United States, and everybody's got a price.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you
Moving
should-
on to the next question.
Okay.
Moving on to the next question. Hey, just take it, man. It's all good. It's all good.
This is fun.
I like that, Derek.
Shut up, Ted. Shut up,
That's why I
Ted.
stick the lightning round. If my questions are
Yeah, well,
Focus. Who cares?
I gotta say, I'm disappointed that I think I've been on Helidope Toys twice and never got a lightning round.
I know, me neither, man.
I haven't either.
Because I just like to hear Ted go, correct!
Yes.
Yes!
All right. Round 2. Who starts round 2, Punk?
Round 2. We're gonna start with
Wait, can we
with
just
you, Ed.
can we just chime Ted in so he can do us a quick rounds?
Yeah.
What original Ara figure had a file card that stated he graduated top of his class at Ranger School and is fluent in 4 languages? Ed.
I know this.
Fluent in 4 languages, Ranger School. I'm gonna say, what the hell is his name? Jesus, now I'm drawing a blank.
It was not Jesus.
I know. Thanks. I know who it is, but I can't think of his name right now, so I'm gonna pass.
Punk, it's you.
Is it Flint?
No, it is not. Skunk, you have a chance.
Stalker.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Flint was
Yeah.
a warrant officer, not a ranger.
Awesome.
Stalker's a ranger. That was his.
I was thinking Beachhead, but
I was
That was
thinking
my
Beachhead.
favorite.
I was also thinking Beachhead, but I forget what I was just watching, but they were just going over Flint's file card, talking about like all the languages that he could speak. That's why I don't remember Stalker having that. I just remember he was from Detroit. He was a gang member.
I was a big stalker. That was my first G.I. Joe figure. My first.
So that-
American figure.
That
Did
question
you guys
was
have the
stolen.
same complexion?
What?
Did you like them because you guys have the same complexion?
I was really into DEI in 1982.
Oh God. So going back to the topic at hand here, before Punk derailed us with his failure of selection there, and Ed actually, let's do an update of the score here before we go into the next question. Currently, we have Ed with a grand total of 0 points. We have Punk with a grand total of 2 points, and we have Skunk or Jeff with 3 points after stealing a 2-pointer from Ed in the opening question of round 2. Up next, we have Punk answering the following question: which GI Joe vehicle doubled as a mobile base and was nicknamed the Whale?
Wait,
Just-
which G.I. Which
just say the real name of it, Punk.
the hovercraft, the killer whale.
All right, what is your answer? I'm checking my answers real quick before I show the screen.
I mean, the nickname.
I'm going to give it to you because you did say the hovercraft whale.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm
there
not
you go.
sure.
You got that. You got it.
The whale was one of the few vehicles that I did not call by its code name.
Of the hovercraft, yeah.
Yeah, I called it the hovercraft. I never called the armadillo the armadillo. I called it the mini tank. Same with the hydrofoil. I didn't call it the moray. Call it the hydrofoil.
Okay. Well,
Just
we
be
have
ready.
an update on the score with Punk with 4 points. We have Ed with a large
Goose egg.
number of 0. And then we have Jeff sitting here with 3. And the next question is yours to go, Jeff. Who was the first female G.I. Joe character introduced in the original toy line?
Scarlet.
And you get another 2 points.
Jeff in the lead.
Jeff in the lead going into round 3.
I think we all deserve a point for telling you that Sergeant Slaughter was not a real military cruiser.
Punk,
don't
it
wanna
is
take points-
2025.
I
I
don't
don't
wanna
give
take
points
points
away to everyone.
I don't want
Ted
to take
says,
points away from
Travis
Jeff.
really needs his own trivia show, and every episode has to go like this.
It would be good, right? Wouldn't it be entertaining? Because I'd be learning as we go along.
This is so fun. This is
Travis,
fun.
like, I'm going to ask these questions, and I'm going to Google the answer to see if you're right or
Travis?
not.
This is like me. Dude, this is honestly like me going through my slides and I'm asking people, I'm like, okay, so who is this guy?
Yeah.
All right? This is my Monday show, just not in trivia form.
Hey, I got you guys. I got you. Where do you think I studied the last 3 weeks, man? How does Punk do it? So round 3, we're gonna go to you, Ed. See if you can redeem yourself in any such manner.
All right.
You're gonna have to steal some to get the win. You could still win, Ed. You get this question right. Punk fails his. Jeff fails it. Then comes back to you. You'll be at 6 points. Then if Jeff loses, it comes back to you. You could win with 9 points, Ed. I
All
believe
right.
in you. Don't let the ToyLeet show down. Okay, you ready?
Go for it.
These aren't easy. In the Marvel Comics run, which Joe is revealed to have survived an explosion once thought fatal, leading to a major plot twist?
Holy fuck, that's a good question.
And I'll give you a hint, Ed, and others, that there are 2 acceptable answers here.
2 acceptable answers. Okay. I'm going to say, because I have no fucking clue, but I'm going to answer Destro.
Punk, chance to steal.
Is this Joe or Cobra?
You
Or
can't ask
Edgar?
that question.
Well, he says which
In Marvel Comics run, which Joe is revealed to have
Snake Eyes.
survived an explosion once thought fatal, leading to a major plot twist?
Snake Eyes.
That is one of the acceptable answers.
Okay.
That is one of the acceptable answers. It would have also accepted Sneak Peek.
If you would have guessed
Yes.
sneak peek, you deserved extra credit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
another 3 points.
it was
for
a
that.
harder, more difficult one. So Punk getting a 3-pointer there. But don't worry, Ed, you still have a chance to win. Well, actually, no, you're mathematically eliminated at this point with his 7 points. So, with that said, we will go to the final round. Oh, why did that do that? Did we lose Jeff? Is he gone?
No, Jeff's still there.
Jeff just fucking quit.
No,
Oh, this fucking-
we kick out losers. We kick out the losers. We're gonna go to no. He still has a chance to steal some points and redeem himself. Let's not be a complete jerk. So, the next question. Son of a bitch.
This is
Now I
This
gotta
is
shuffle these
unbelievable.
cards around.
All
This
right.
is
Go.
unbelievable.
What's the next question?
I think Ted is watching this because he's like, this is the only show that's worse than mine right now. All right.
This is so good. I'm glad I stayed up. We're glad you stayed up too, Ted. All right. Next question, Travis.
Next question. We've got. Okay, so this question goes to Punk. This could seal it right here, Punk, if you get this question. What specific color variant of the 1985 Snake Eyes is considered one of the rarest mass-produced Joes due to a packaging error?
what?
Wait, what specific color variant of the 1985 Snake Eyes is considered one of the rarest mass-produced Joes due to the packaging error? I have no fucking clue.
Jeff for the
Pass.
steal. Jeff for the steal.
Blue?
Derek Hoover knows it.
Well, you're not supposed to fucking tell people because then you can look.
Don't say it. Don't say it, Derek. Don't post it in the chat. Nobody post the answer in the chat. So, Punk, are you passing to Jeff?
I already hit pass, so I can't. I mean,
Yeah, I said blue.
You said blue?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to say no. And that brings it down to you, Ed. And Ed,
I know.
just to help you here, Ed, I'm gonna do you a solid. I'm gonna let you phone a friend, and if Derek Hoover posts the answer in the chat and you want to accept his answer, I will let you, Ed, and you will get some points redeeming the hosts of the show that you've so thoroughly
to phone a
embarrassed
friend?
alongside the host.
I get to phone a friend. Derek, what's the answer? I would say purple, but
I would say listen to Derek Hoover over yourself.
okay, then I'm going to say listen to Derek. Derek, what's the answer? Probably gray.
All black.
It's teal.
What color is
Is
it,
it
Derek?
teal?
Come on.
I'm just waiting for
Did not
Derek to
know
post
that.
something in the chat.
Derek's on a
What, did
lag
he fail?
here.
Derek's over there Googling the answer. I may know it, but let me make
Yeah.
sure.
Just no, Derek. No, you can't even get pants for people who could Google. It's a gray timber variant versus the standard white wolf accessory.
So I was going to say it's probably gray.
Okay,
Wait
see,
a second. I thought we were
I
talking about
almost
the
said
snake
something
guys.
about timber, but yeah.
I
Okay,
said
that's a
gray
trick
after
question.
purple. I should get points for that.
I didn't know we were talking about the wolf.
Sorry, guys.
When you
Tony
guys said
Figs knew
85,
it.
that's what I was trying to figure out.
Fuck that
All right.
question.
Travis, you're not allowed to do questions anymore. Jesus Christ, these are
Okay.
fucking ridiculous.
So here's the next one. Next one here, and this one goes to you, Jeff. Jeff, this is a deciding question here. If you get this right, you will beat Punk, and you'll be the first annual ToyLeet awesome, most coolest Jeopardy trivia you've ever experienced
Oh, Jesus.
of 2025.
I'm gonna go ahead and
So-
answer German. I'm gonna go ahead and answer Germany. Are you fucking kidding me with that? I mean, come on.
Come on, dude.
I can
What
see
the
Punk just his soul left his body.
I mean, I could have guessed Germany just by looking at the goddamn letters.
Ed, I'd believe that if you hadn't gotten every other question wrong.
Fuck you, Travis. You use ChatGPT to make the questions up.
So, with that said,
Radnow says all
We
the
have
chat
our
should
winner.
get points for watching this.
Look at Punk's face does it all.
we
So
can do
disgusting.
a round 2 if you want, guys, or round 4 if you want.
Oh sure, let's do one
Let's do
more.
a round
I got
four.
two
Let's
other-
go.
I got 2 other questions. I don't have the screens for them, but I can speak to them.
Let's do bonus.
All right, bonus
Okay.
questions.
So, question number 1
Wait, how much are the bonus questions worth?
for Punk and Skunk, they're worth 4 points each. For you, Ed, they're worth 5
You know,
points each.
I go like 4 hours on Monday, and I've never wanted a show to end so bad.
Ken says he's lost 10
So then-
points watching this. 10 brain
So
cells.
IQ
baby.
points. IQ points.
Yeah.
So
Ted says
the first
1
question is
points. Correct.
so the first question
Or
is
his boss
name the
man
artist
says- 1 million points.
name the artist responsible for the original cardback artwork for the American AR I can't pronounce it. ARAH.
A real American hero.
Thank you.
Yeah. Name the
Name the
original,
original artist responsible for the original cardback artwork for the American Real
American hero.
Whatever. Thank you. Real American Hero.
The original artist for the card art?
Oh, I can't think of his name.
Hector Guerrero.
Ed, phone a friend real quick.
Hector Guerrero.
Ed, you have 5 points. You're in the running. You're only down by 3 points, Ed.
Thanks, brother Ken. Go
That
ahead,
is
Punk.
the answer.
Punk's question.
No. Well, that's to the group. Any one of you can grab it. You answered first. Yeah, it's
Oh.
like sudden death.
Okay.
So I mean, 5 points for you, Ed. If Punk or Jeff gets it, it's only worth 4. So I mean, the person that gets this answer wins. Which 2 Joe vehicles could interlock to form a battle fortress in the 90s line?
I was skateboarding.
Jesus. I was graduating high school.
Well, it was
I and
Battle Force-
skateboarding was not the answer, Punk. You were out.
It was Battle Force 2000, right?
I know which ones you're talking about.
And I can't remember the names of them.
The
wait,
vehicles,
no.
but I don't know what they're called.
I knew Battle Force 2000 would form a base. But I didn't. I had like 2 vehicles. I didn't have all of them. I'm probably wrong on the other thing. The Dominator. Oh fuck, it's called.
It's Battle Force 2000. I can picture it, but I have no idea what
Yeah.
the name is.
I can't remember what they were.
That has
Radnow
like
said
doesn't it has like little round turrets that
Little-
go into it, I
yeah.
believe.
What's the answer, Travis? The General
Jet,
and the Avalanche.
Oh, Ed, you're correct. You win with 10
I win the
points.
fucking game.
You win the contest.
I get Hexastack
Sorry,
for free.
Jeff. Sorry, Punk. Yeah, you guys win, man. You guys win.
Wow.
So
We
we're
lost.
all losers.
No, they're all losers. All the people fucking watching.
So that said, appreciate everyone. Sorry I suck at trivia. I thought it'd be fun. I got a couple laughs, and I also found out that my real American hero, Sergeant Slaughter, he didn't serve, and that's disappointing.
Battles
He's a
don't ever
fraud.
change. Don't ever change.
Thanks,
Stay
brother.
you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Derek. I appreciate that, brother.
So with that said, I think next week's topic's an interesting one.
Ted says this is the
And-
best shit he's watched all week. So there you go, Punk. Better than your show.
You're damn right.
Well, you
You're
should
damn
have
right.
watched our show earlier today then.
I got like 24 people watching right now, Punk. That's good numbers. Thank you very much for coming on and sharing. Yeah. I mean, I don't have 7K. I have a loyal few. Kenzo, stop it. Oh no, he's happy. He doesn't want it to end. Damn.
Yeah.
We can do this all day, guys. No, with all seriousness, I think next week's topic, and I didn't even suggest this to you guys before when you were hyping this up, earlier in the conversation, but next week is breaking the mold, independent toy makers and their impact on the industry, right? So it actually was already started. We kind of started talking about that this week with Jeff and Punk here, talking about, all of these different lines that are coming into play beyond just your Mattels and Hasbros. So we'll be talking about, more in-depth approaches here and what these toy lines are doing and how they're changing, and the impact that they've had on the mainstream lines like Hasbro and Mattel. So come back next week and check in with us on Tuesday night, just before some of these troopers head down to call Sergeant Slaughter out for what he is, and that's a goddamn fraud, a freaking fraud,
Stolen valor.
which I only found out
Stolen
tonight.
valor.
Stolen
Next
valor.
thing-
Oh,
next thing you're-
slaughter.
Next thing you're gonna tell me, guys, is that Santa's not real.
Look at this guy.
I'm also a
that.
Marine.
Look at that Marine hat. My gosh. Semper Fi.
That turned to a terrorist organization and have my own
Turncoat.
action figure.
So
You like the anti-Mercer.
Yeah.
So before we go, though, guys,
I came
Punk
with my dog Roman.
Where are we here?
Punk, tell us where you're going to be this week, besides everywhere.
Holy shit, where am I going to be? Tomorrow you can catch me. Tomorrow you can catch us on the special missions Circle of Jerks, where we're going to break down the G.I. Joe releases. This Thursday you can catch me on my channel, Punk with Toys. Well, you catch me on my channel every time. Punk with Toys. I'm going to have Rowdy Riles for Thursday with a friend. Monday, you can catch me over there too, where I'll be talking about all G.I. Joe and talking about JoeFest from last year and going into this year.
Awesome.
And who's
Skunk
on
Works,
Thursday with
tell
a friend?
yourself.
Rowdy Riles.
What?
What's that?
You got Thursday with a friend? Rowdy Riles?
Rowdy, I said that. Rowdy
Oh,
Riles.
did you?
Yeah.
Yep.
I missed it. Sorry.
Yep. And Jeff, what do you got going on?
Boy, Skunk Works Studios YouTube channel, Skunk Works Studios Instagram and Facebook. I'm taking off this week and won't be back until July of Japanese July, where I'm going to be doing some videos of Japanese imports I've recently got. And then on August, we'll go back to our regularly scheduled program. You can find me on a Tuesday toy review and then a Friday feature video. And then every other week, I'll be doing a live stream, Who's in the Shop. I'm not sure what days those are on, just whatever works out for people. And then every other Sunday, I do a Sunday in the Shop live stream where I share my current projects, and that's where I'm at.
Awesome.
Appreciate you guys
Ed, what
having
do you
me
got
on.
going on? Absolutely, thank you. I appreciate you guys coming back again this year.
I don't
and
want
chatting.
to. I don't want to say thank you for having me on.
Got a new
Shut
sub
up,
from
dude.
Kenzo, Jeff.
No,
What's that?
seriously, thank
I
you
said
guys.
you got a new
Thanks,
sub from
Kenzo.
Kenzo.
Thanks, Kenzo.
I did have a
Can't
blast.
wait for trivia next year. You guys prepare for trivia next year because my co-host is coming back to defend that championship.
That's right. We're going to do something outside of fucking Real American Hero. Jesus, I'll write the questions for you.
Well, no, you could just do a Real American Hero, but actually have proper answers.
Yeah.
They were proper. How many did you get right, punk? You got it right. Cobra, doesn't mean anything. You got it. Sergeant Slaughter is a real life person who represents someone in the military who was in the G.I. Joe line.
Yes.
Yes, and you do the questions next year to make it completely GI Joe spectrum.
Yeah.
I can do that too. I can widen the range. I know stuff. I also have the internet that I can
I'll be 100% honest. I would assume that we would all know a Real American Hero, right?
Yes.
We all played with them, and right?
Yeah, but
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I almost generated all the questions off G.I. Joe Extreme from the 90s to really piss you all off. Because, like, I don't think anybody knows that shit.
I have all the Dark Horse
I don't think the
comics.
writers knew what that shit was.
I would have no idea.
I actually, because I don't really ever focus on the lore shit, man. I never really pay attention to it. So, like the file cards, I always like the goofy part at the bottom, but I never really cared about like the military, background and all that.
I always cared about.
I'm pretty solid. I'm pretty solid 82, 83. I can probably tell you most of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you went to Battle Force 2000, like you hit 90, 99, 90, and I'm like, I had a skateboard.
Once you get to gay, Force, I'm out.
Like, where was the question of like who was the green monster in Super Joe Adventures?
Yeah, Gorg.
Right. I mean, see.
I only know what I know, guys. I only know what I know.
All right. Anyway,
I tried. Hey, I let you phone a friend. It happened.
I appreciate you, brother. I'll be all over the YouTubes, modding for everybody, Punk and Radnom, and then Clubhouse Saturday with the Hella Dope Boys on Sunday. No Hella Dope Sunday because Hella Dope is not having Sunday show because it's Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to everybody that's a father this weekend. And then Monday I'll be back with Punk, Tuesday back here, and then Wednesday I'm hitting the road with Gomez on the way down to JoeFest.
Be careful. Awesome. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I look forward to seeing all your
for me, guys, where you can find me this week is on Thursday night. I will be broadcasting Travis's Thursday Night Trivia, where it is going to be awesome, and everyone's going to love it. No, I kid. I'll see you guys next week on Thursday or on Tuesday. I'm not doing that.
I know. I got a great idea for a show. We'll get the travesties together. It'll be called Trivia with the Travesties, and you can all sit around and whine and bitch and moan and see who can do it the best.
What have I whined and bitched about?
You didn't, but you could get Travis with these questions. He'll whine and bitch enough for everybody.
I guess I just whine and complain because Punk doesn't answer my calls, man. I try to call the dude and he's like, screw this guy. Like, I mean, is it like
busy washing hair?
Monday night would be a busy time to call somebody every time consistently.
Do you guys remember that 80s movie with John Cusack where there's a paper boy, he kept chasing him around the whole movie, asking him where his $2 were?
Yes.
Remember that? Yes, remember that?
Yep.
Punk, every time you start one of your live streams, I want you to say, where's my Hexa stack?
Where's my Hexa stack?
That's right.
You get on your skateboard, you just skate around and go, where's my Hexa stack?
Let's see here. Monday night, as my notebook. I'm going to write it down.
ToyLeet crew, from Max and Stacks to Toy Vendor, yeah, we break through. Unbox the fire, showcase the find. Collectors worldwide, all one of a kind. ToyLeet, we set the pace and lead.